Okay, let's get started.
Turtle time.
Hello, everyone. After multiple stops and starts, Amy and I have established a new method of recording. It's called remote recording. It's something
That's right.
Amy and I invented.
Yeah, hopefully we're coming in loud and clear for you guys. Riley came down with a case of the old SARS-CoV-19.
Yes. I got COVID-19, which I'm sure most of our listeners are familiar with it. But yeah, I went to Saddle Ranch on last Friday, and I guess I was just trying to test my immune system a little bit and just see what it could put up with. And it turns out that COVID was lingering there. I mean,
Honestly, warning to all, like, there's nowhere you're more likely to get COVID than the Saddle Ranch bar.
Yeah.
On the
It is
Sunset
where,
Strip.
yeah, it's where, just for, our Vanderpump Rules heads, that is where Sandoval and Raquel had their first intimate conversation after the Mondrian Guys night.
Oh, wow, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I don't know anyway, so I went there independent of that. I was stricken with COVID, and so Amy and I, so that we're not in the same room together, and I keep spreading COVID throughout Los Angeles, we're doing a remote recording using this amazing software.
Yeah, we can, go live from all around the globe. So this is perfect for us to learn how to do for when we have emergency happenings while we're globetrotting.
That exactly. And also for maybe Bravo figures that are not in the Los Angeles area, like someone like, I don't know, hypothetically like Kyle Cook or like Carl Radke, they can just sign on to this, whatever this platform is called, and then we could have remote recordings with them because we don't want everybody to go to Amy and I's house. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, how about maybe there's one person we need to have a conversation with, one Ramona Singer.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. I want to sit her down. I want to send her a this Riverside link. Say, Ramona and Avery, you need to join Amy and I for a major discussion on what the hell happened over there on your guys' end.
Yeah. So do you want to fill people in for the turtles that aren't extremely online? Maybe some of them haven't heard the news.
Sure. Yeah. If you are a listener of our Turtle Time and you love it and you're so sweet to us, and you didn't also hear that Ramona Singer created a rival podcast also called Turtle Time with her daughter Avery, well, that happened. We found out about that. What day was that when that happened?
Tuesday.
I was sick as hell. I couldn't, I had COVID, fog. I was having trouble, all the symptoms of COVID. And then I find out that Ramona and Avery have created a rival podcast, sort of really like taking it to you and I a little bit, like sort of almost.
I'm taking it personally. I have chosen to believe that it's a direct challenge to us, and
yes.
They want to rumble.
I mean, yeah, they want to rumble. They want it with us so bad. I also think you couldn't have not seen the emerging Turtle Time star podcast arising on the internet over the last 2 months if you just even Googled for 1 second Turtle Time podcast. Am I correct in assuming that, or am I being too braggadocious about our impact?
I mean, one would assume that they would do a cursory search the way that we did. We did before, having our naming ceremony, we checked the trademarks, we checked the podcast circuit, and guess what? Ramona, her Turtle Time trademark has been dead and abandoned since 2011, and it was only in the t-shirt category. So,
yes,
in our minds, we were free and clear. RMS Fashions, dead and abandoned trademark for Turtle Time. So we thought, all right, well, she seems kind of over it. Let's move forward with this iconic line. And then she got a little, something was in the air. She was like, if if I can't have a Turtle Time podcast, no one can.
Yes, I really think there's something to that. I mean, of all the podcast names, and I tried to workshop a few of them, like to offer them to them, but yeah, they went with Turtle Time, which, I didn't know she still had this association with Turtle Time. I mean, so far we haven't heard from their people or podcast one.
Right.
If we didn't know about this, we would just continue on with our lives and continue making, beautiful episodes of our podcast without even knowing that this had happened.
Right. Yeah, I assume, I don't know. I feel like they would have come for us already if they had any grounds, but we'll see. If there's any little turtle attorneys out there, give us some
Yes.
advice. I know that we have joked
Yeah,
that
and
my
we
boyfriend
have
Jimmy is a lawyer, but when in fact he is a realtor. So we need a real lawyer.
Do you think there's yes. Do you think there's any like Avery and Ramona fans, which I know they have fans, but I'm saying, do you think anybody tuned into Turtle Time this beautiful Friday morning and was like, where the hell is Ramona? Do you think?
Yeah, I hope so. We should check our stats and see if we had a spike once they announced to see, I hope that this causes a healthy rivalry and,
Yes, healthy.
some people, find us accidentally and choose to stay. Hopefully not vice versa. I personally highly doubt that anyone would choose to stay over there in that Mar-a-Lago vibes podcast.
Yes. Do you think they're recording at Mar-a-Lago?
Yes, they record at Mar-a-Lago the way we record at Villa Rosa.
Okay. I agree.
Unsanctioned.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine. I'm honestly fine with there being two, really, deeply. I'm okay with it as long as there's not confusion in the marketplace. And you know what I mean? Which I guess there will be, but I mean, I don't know. I don't mind there being.
Yeah, they did make theirs Turtle Time with Ramona and Avery or whatever. So that at least is technically a different name because it's includes their names, which actually makes ours. We are the Turtle Time podcast.
Right, and we don't even have to have our names associated with it. We just have, that trademark. So we don't know what's going to ultimately, happen with this, when the cease and desists will start flying, when lawyers will get involved. We're just hoping it doesn't come to that. We're hoping that there can just be two harmonious Turtle Times. And, this podcast that we started, I mean, truly based on, Amy's two beautiful turtles, Tuffy and Stella, and the time of year when they, come out of their hibernation. That was really the impetus for Turtle Time. And so hopefully there's such a separation in terms of what Turtle Time means. And we want to be your Turtle Time forever, the Turtle Time you love. And if you have to dip into Ramona and Avery's Turtle Time, that's okay. I think there's enough room for both.
Yeah, I'll let you be the nice one. I say I draw the line. If you listen to the other Turtle Time, don't call me a friend.
Okay. All right, fine. All right. Well, I mean, we can, of course. We have two different philosophies on how to treat this podcast. I do know one thing that we have rallied around, and I think I'm not breaking any news here, but we have settled, I think, Amy and I, we might maybe be workshopping it a little bit, but I think we're rounding the corner on calling our jackholes Amy and Riley's certified stinkers. And if they are truly awful and they warrant something above the level of stinker, it's called Amy and Riley's certified shitheads. If you're a shithead, that's bad. I mean, that is game over. I don't know how you're getting out of that without a personal apology to Amy and I.
No, yeah, that's bad. I did notice in the comments a lot of people were calling them Avery and Ramona Stinker. They said it, not me.
So, not me. I didn't say anything bad about them either. But I think that we can both say right now, officially, our first certified stinkers are Ramona and Avery. I'm not calling them shitheads, right?
Wow. We'll see. Right now, we'll place them at stinker, but if legal action happens, we might upgrade them.
Yes, if it gets to legal territory, you better believe we might have shithead on lock to unleash on them. But right now, you heard it here first. The first official Turtle Time Amy and Riley's certified stinkers are Ramona Singer and Avery Singer. Why did you start a Turtle Time podcast when you know there's a beautiful established podcast hosted by Riley and Amy, who are big fans and a positive shining light in the Bravo universe, and you co-opted our title? What the heck?
Yeah, it's like, come on, guys. Like, we're putting positivity out in this universe. We have our beautiful turtle community.
Yes.
Like,
wonderful fans, 5-star reviews that you guys have been so generous with. Only one hater, bad review, which Amy and I are figuring out exactly who that is. And when we find out, you better believe you are a certified stinker as well.
We will be taking legal action.
Once we get legal teams set up, we are going to be the most litigious community in the world. And Amy, if you don't mind, I'm going to add a cheering sound effect to when I declared Ramona and Avery. So do you mind just holding for 20 seconds for a clip?
Right
or is that okay?
Yes.
And so with that, Amy and Riley have officially declared that Ramona and Avery are our first certified stinkers. Oh, wait, hold on one second. Oh, my God, it's not playing. Hold on, it's loading. Hold on. Okay, wait. Okay. All right, I'll do that again later, but there is this cool sound box feature that I have access to that's not working right now. You know what? Maybe later I'll just add in cheering. But anyway, imagine you heard uproarious cheering right then.
Yes,
okay.
I can imagine it perfectly.
Okay, good. Yeah, the sound bar is not working. So anyway, that could have been a beautiful moment, but maybe we'll add in post and have the cheering.
I love when we always say we're going to add stuff in post, and we've never added anything in post. So we'll see. We just are scrambling to get it live.
Yes, I have two small, quick things to talk about before we get into this episode, which I don't even want to spoil my thoughts on it yet. But I have two little pieces of information. You know about it. It's the buzz button mystery, and it's also an update on if Tom Sandoval has a stench. But do you have anything you wanted to add into this segment before we go straight into our recap?
I don't think so. Yeah, go right ahead, and I'll let you know if anything comes to me.
Okay. So wait, I think this cheering is loaded up. So let me just really quickly play 1 second of it and just see.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. No. Okay. No. It's not. Okay, fine. I'm not trying that again. I can't believe this. I'm in Riverside FM. I tried to use your sound bar on the first remote recording that Amy and I ever did, and the cheering did not work. So this is
we'll be taking legal action.
So you better hope that Amy and I never ever get a legal team. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I want to put together the Succession legal team and just have them on retainer and sick them on everyone who has ever betrayed us.
Yeah, for real. And also, there has to be some pro bono, amazing lawyers that want to just get in the mix on this podcast rivalry. If you want to be pro bono and be regarded as a hero in the podcast Bravo community, sign up for Amy and I, and we've got you skyrocketing to the moon. We'll advertise you every single second you're on Turtle Time.
Yeah, that's right. My friend was saying that we should write into, have you heard of that podcast, The Bravo Docket?
No.
It's like two Bravo fans who are attorneys, and they talk about all of the legal stuff,
I like that.
Jen Shaw trial and Erica Jane and all of that stuff.
Wow.
I feel like we should get in touch with them and do some cross promo.
That would be amazing. What about a combo episode or a crossover ep where we talk about this legal battle that we're potentially going to be in with Ramona and Avery?
Yeah, I think they would love it. We should maybe after this we'll email them and see.
Yes, let's do it. And then I am now going to segue into this one little update that I have, which I think that the Bravo community needs to know, and it's my theory. So there's been this controversy surrounding Tom Sandoval, in addition to Scandoval, that he has smelled bad throughout his entire life on the show. Amy, you're familiar with that.
Yes, I've specifically seen it on TikTok spreading like wildfire, and I could never confirm or deny.
Yeah, so they say that he radiates a stench, which is noteworthy, and they've said it multiple times. And I've been around Sandoval twice, and he didn't stink to high heaven. I didn't even notice a smell radiating from him at all. And it was on a day when he had it was completely warranted for him to stink, and he didn't. If you're wondering what time that was, we saw him at Pride. We saw him.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen him just like sweaty. I think after he's like performed, we saw him at Tom Tom. There's no stench that radiates off of him. And then Sheena said officially, I think on Watch What Happens Live, that she's known him for 12 years and he has never stunk to her, which I think you have to take Sheena into account, what she says, that she's never smelled him.
Right. I mean, Jax usually disagrees, but I trust Sheena more.
But Jack said that he stinks like cigarettes and coffee and Red Bull. And that's what anybody stinks when they've had those things. I wouldn't classify that as a stench, right?
I mean, it doesn't sound good, but I guess BO is just a totally different thing.
Yes. When I hear that he smells bad, I think he has a body odor that is undeniably, around. And I don't think coffee breath and cigarettes. It's like you can't really control that, and I don't think that's an overwhelming stench. So anyway, I just wanted to say that. I don't know if we needed to talk about that, but I just thought it's interesting that I think that's what people are equating with him smelling really bad.
Okay. Did I tell you that I also was near him at Pride? And did I tell you that, you know how they do that thing where he gets on the bar and pours like liquor in people's mouths?
Yes.
I did that.
Well, no. He did? You got liquor poured in your mouth from him?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. What was it?
I think it was like the Vanderpump vodka. It might have had like a mixer, like pre-mixed.
And when he bent down to lean over you, there was no stench odors or stink lines?
Not to my knowledge, but I was in a sea of like people in tank tops, so it would be hard to say whose stench it was.
Yeah. And I forgot to have a warning at the beginning of this that I have labored breathing from COVID. So if you hear me huffing air to try to breathe into the mic, that's what that is. And I'm so sorry, but that's the only way I could record this podcast. So I'm so sorry. But anyway, do you think that is like the case closed on Tom stinking, or are you still thinking not enough evidence?
Yeah, it did always kind of feel a little bit like a witch hunt. Like people were trying to like take him down.
Yeah, and
like,
just say that he
I was
stinks.
always like, yeah, like that just seems like an easy, like mean thing to say.
I agree.
I mean, I bet I wouldn't be surprised if it was based off of him smelling like cigarettes and booze, like because he is low key smoking all the time, including on this new episode.
Yes.
They don't like feature it very heavily. No. I don't know if they have rules about that. But
no, I think he does a good job of. I think he does a really good job of keeping it away from camera, so he's not just smoking like in pivotal scenes.
Yeah, they kind of kept it out of frame this week, and then there's been like a few moments in the past. Like I remember, I think it was like the New Orleans episode when like him and Kristen have a heart-to-heart. They're like on a smoke break, which like always feels a little bit like, ooh, like we get to see, like, because it feels. You know, even on Housewives too, whenever it's very rare to see a housewife smoking. So when you do, it feels very exciting.
It could also be Bravo not wanting to advertise cigarette use among their cast. So I think there's some validity.
It might be like an advertising thing or something. I don't know. But I think it's mostly just that people don't want to be seen that way.
Yeah,
know?
But Sandoval is ripping cigs all throughout Vanderpump Rules in the background of every scene. You just have to like really look at it. I mean, he is a frequent cigarette smoker. But I don't know. I mean, I guess for me, if I'm classifying someone as a odorous person, I wouldn't call them the things that they're like consuming. You know?
Yeah. I guess there's like a difference between like. I don't know. Like, I mean, we've discussed this before, I hate to bring it up, but multiple housewives have accused LVP of having halitosis.
Which I always hated as well. I thought that was so mean too. I don't think that could be true, but I don't know. I think it's so mean when they say that.
I know, it really feels like below the belt.
Yeah, I don't think she has bad breath at all, and I think they're just being. That's how they can get at Lisa with these like very, very, um, I don't know what that's kind of called, but just like these silly remarks to like get at her image or something. I don't think she stinks.
The only thing worse was when Brandy accused Joanna Krupa from Miami Housewives of having a smelly vagina.
Oh,
Do
she
you
did
remember
that?
that?
When did she? No, when did she do that?
They were in a feud. I think it was like Watch What Happens or something. Like they were like had a Twitter feud, and then Brandy was on Watch What Happens. And Joanna used to date Muhammad Hadid,
Oh,
and
and he said it.
Brandy was like, "Well, Muhammad tells me that your pussy smells so," and I was like,
Oh,
and then
oh,
she sued her for it.
oh, good. Did she win money?
I don't remember if they settled or if it got dropped or whatever, but again,
Muhammad had to
legal
go into
action.
court. Yeah, Muhammad had to defend his statements in court. I think that's awful that Muhammad said that. That is so horrible. Such a low blow. I don't think people should talk about when people stink. I mean, it's
Muhammad
well, I
is
don't
a
know.
sicko.
Yeah, I think he's a total sicko. But
I love
okay, well,
over the course of this conversation, we've discovered that many stink related plot lines.
there are a lot. Okay, and then going into now, we are pivoting away from the stink section. That was the stink. That was the stinker minute. That was when we declare a stinker, and we also talk about the most stink related controversies in Bravo history. And now we are quickly pivoting to what I think was a little bit of fun. So we start with horribleness. We get into a little bit of fun, which was that I was watching Winter House season 2, episode
Yes.
5. It's when Sandoval and Schwartz come to Winter House, and they are offering the whole cast of Winter House buzz buttons, which we looked up why James Kennedy called Schwartz Mr. Buzz Button in last week's episode, but I was very confused by it. You were
Yeah.
confused too. It just seemed very out of place. It didn't seem like a good insult. It didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, then people actually I think was that message sent to us on Patreon or was that on Instagram? Someone helped
I think
us out.
it was an Instagram DM. Yeah. Someone, what was it? It was like a season 7 callback.
Yes.
Do you remember exactly what it was? I don't have
It was
their
that Tom
message up right now.
It was that, yeah, me neither. But we loved that message. Amy and I sent it to each other. It was so sweet
Yeah.
that Tom incorporates buzz buttons in their cocktails. And so when Tom and Tom go out for the weekend to go party or something, they're like, hey, we left the things you need to make a cocktail. We also left a bunch of buzz buttons for the cocktail. So there's just an ethos around buzz buttons at Tom Tom, and then they're so into them that they even took them to Winter House on a trip,
Right.
Across the country. So yeah. So I think
So
that
you
sorry,
were
go
just
ahead.
watching Winter House as you do, and you realized this, and you were shaken to your core.
Yes, it just so happened. I wasn't doing research. I'd almost given up on the buzz button mystery. I was like, okay, yeah, something about cocktails. He looks like a buzz button. He meant Buzz Lightyear. Like I had no clue. There's a lot of
Yeah.
buzz buttons. But the fact that they are so associated with buzz buttons that they brought him to Winter House, that seemed to unlock it for me. Tom Schwartz must just talk about buzz buttons all the time, and James just thought that was a good insult for him, which makes sense now to me.
Yeah, I feel like the cocktail related insults are more apt for Sandoval because
Yes.
he's like Mr. Mixology rather than Schwartz, but they do own a bar together, so it works both ways. But Sandoval, I would say, is more of a Mr. Buzz Button than Schwartz is.
I agree. Sandoval seemed to be like more enthralled with buzz buttons, especially in that Winter House episode.
Yeah.
Not to pivot fully into Winter House, but have you watched all of Winter House?
Yes.
Did you love it?
Yes, I get a little, I don't know quite how I feel about the crossover of it all. Like it
Yes.
feels a little forced.
Yes.
Like when like the Toms drop in. Was it
Yes.
that episode? Have they dropped in more than once or just
No, they
once?
didn't come in season 1. They only came in season 2 for about 2
Okay.
episodes.
it felt like they were literally there for like 20 hours. Like
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
just left immediately.
It felt weird. We've talked about this before. When you're watching a show and you're so tuned in to other cast members, it's hard to watch other cast members come in because you're kind of like, I like the relationships between the people I'm watching. I don't want to see people from other, like, I felt this when Vanderpump Rules came on season 3 of Summer House, even though I love Vanderpump Rules as much as any show in the world. Even when the Vanderpump Rules people came on to Summer House, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm liking the Summer House relationships. I don't need this like forced entry of these other personalities to, yeah. So I don't know. That's how I felt.
It's disruptive.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm on a Winter House journey. I really do like it. I think I only have experienced Craig and Austin in this Winter House environment, and I liked Austin the first season, but Craig this season, I'm like, what the hell is going on? I don't like this man at all, and I haven't seen any good moments on Southern Charm. But Craig comes in like a wrecking ball in Winter House. He's like daring Paige to like break up with him, like throwing stuff, breaking things, screaming, like
when he comes in on like the first episode and tries to buy his way into the master bedroom with cash.
Yeah, he talks about his wealth a lot. He brags about his wealth constantly throughout that
what
season.
Wealth? He sells pillows. Like, how much money could he have? Like, actually.
I didn't even know that. But Kyle's energy towards him is amazing. Kyle's like fed up with him after like night 2 or 3. He's like so mad at him. But Kyle's like really nice, so he's keeping the peace. But I love Kyle's reaction to Craig. Anyway, I didn't want to go on full-blown Winter House because we've got a crazy episode, but I just wanted to let you know where I am in my journey and let the audience know where I am in my journey.
No, yeah. I think I might have brought this up last week, or maybe it was on the Patreon, but my favorite part about that, even though I do really like Paige, I don't know how far. I think you're pretty far on Summer House. But
yeah. I am.
Like everyone.
Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say I'm at the very final season. Sorry to cut you off, but I'm at season 7. So Carl and Lindsay are just beginning a relationship.
Okay, so you're super far. So yeah, when Craig comes to Winter House and starts like causing havoc, it gave me such happy feelings that Paige then had to put up with his bullshit and make everyone else like she has to defend her partner the way Amanda has had to for like 7 seasons. And it's like, yeah, guess what? It sucks. Like no one wants to be accountable for their partner's shitty behavior, even though Craig is a billion times worse than Kyle has ever been.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Kyle is charming when he's drunk and is fun, and typically, for the most part, is fun and charming and can get away with like being a silly drunk. Craig has no redeeming qualities when he's drunk. He's just awful, and he hasn't been redeeming even when he's not drunk. So it's like even worse that Paige has to discuss her partner and clean up after him. He's throwing broken glass around the house and making people step in it without cleaning it up. I'm like, what is worse than that?
And they're like, can you please not do that? And he goes like, I'll hire someone to clean it up. Like such an asshole.
Shocking. Shocking. And so far, the Southern Charm guys seem like they're just like meaner than all other Bravo people. Like they just have more of a mean spirit, which I'm not used to.
Yeah, I feel like it's interesting because when I just rewatched Southern Charm, Austin's first season on Southern Charm, he's actually like very much a sweetie. Like I really like him, and he has like an emotional storyline with his family. And it's like very nice. And then like as time goes on, he kind of becomes more of a playboy. But yeah, there's something rotten in the South. Like Shep is rotten as well. I've heard. I don't think he's just, there's something, the ghosts of the South's past is haunting them all. And like, it's just bad vibes.
Yeah. I got real bad vibes from Austin and Craig, especially the second season of Winter House. It's like a full 180 from the first season of Winter House. But,
all right.
Yeah. Well, I want to, are you ready to dive into this week's episode of Vanderpump Rules?
Yeah, it's a banger, dude.
Absolute banger. And I almost am like I wish that I hadn't ranked other episodes so high throughout this, because this is what 10 out of 10s are reserved for. This was a masterpiece. This was beautiful. This was powerful.
Yeah, there was so much going on. I watched it last night and then I watched it again this morning and I was taking notes like a true like lunatic, like writing shit down in my notebook like
Same here. Same here. I fully broke down the final two scenes, like almost step by step, just
me
because there
too.
are so
I wrote like Schwartz, Lala
yeah,
Schwartz. Like I wrote like a
yeah,
script.
yeah. It was me. Yeah, same here. It was so good. It was, it brought me reminiscent of early seasons of Vanderpump Rules when everyone is fighting, when it's so chaotic. I mean, getting them together for those two scenes, um,
Oh yeah.
it was just so amazing to see them going at it like that, and just all of
Oh
the
my
drama
God.
between them was very good.
Yes.
And then that just the hints of Scandival that we're getting too,
Woo.
throughout all
Yeah.
the earlier episodes.
It's heating up. So this
Yes.
is season 10, episode 12, Beach Don't Kill My Vibe, which is personally was very exciting for me because this might be the first episode mostly taking place in the South Bay, my home town, my home region. They're hanging out in Hermosa Beach. I know exactly where they are, and now we need to go there as well. But that's a little bit later. But first off, that was very
Yes.
exciting
Well,
to me.
yes. Have you been to Tower 12?
I don't know how long that's been there. I feel like that's like newer. I could be wrong. I might get yelled at. I don't hang out at the Hermosa Pier very often. But we should go now because I want one of those tiki bowls.
No, no. I want to go right now. I wish we were going to Hermosa Beach. Once COVID has left my body, let's do a Hermosa Beach day. I loved everything they did. I can't believe that you have that personal connection to it. I love it. I wanted to go there so bad.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a good choice. When I go to the beach, I go to Hermosa Beach. I like it. It's chill. It's a nice beach. So I was excited when they said they were going there. Um, but we will get to that. We will start out. It starts out as always in their apartments one by one. They always just want to
Yes.
remind us that they all live in apartments.
Yes.
Schwartz is using a juicer to make a pineapple drink and fucking it up 3 ways from Sunday.
Yeah, the little pulp of the juice starts splurting out a little bit. I guess too much, he can't handle it or whatever. But he's making a cocktail. I thought he was juicing. Was he making a juice for himself to drink, or was he adding that to a cocktail?
I think there was booze involved because then Katie is doing the same thing, but she's
Yeah.
making a vodka Celsius, which sounds fucking awful.
Oh, I've had one of those Celsiuses before. Have you had one of those?
Jimmy's like obsessed. He drinks them every day. He's like a fiend for energy drinks. I like cannot deal.
Oh, yeah, yeah. My friend Pete is also a fiend for Celsius. I got one free at like the Los Angeles Book Fair one time. They were just passing it out to start a Celsius craze. And so I
Yeah.
had one then, and I had no idea that was what she was drinking. So that's kind of fun. I had no clue.
Yeah, I was like, oof, like a morning vodka Celsius is really intense. Like she must, I don't know, that's really dark.
But when you think about it, though, energy and then the hair of the dog element.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it was interesting. I mean, they were all so hungover from the classic cat. Apparently, Lala's birthday must
Yeah.
have gotten fun after they stopped filming.
I guess so, yeah, because from what I saw, it didn't look that exciting. But yeah, Allie and James also, they were truly fucked in bed drinking out of a water jug.
That was awesome, very relatable. James said, "What do we do today?" And Allie said, "Die." I really like that.
I mean, immediately made me think of the Ariana and Tom preview where he goes, "Do you want anything?" And she goes, "For you to die."
Exactly. I love that. I love that they both made that same reference. That was amazing. Yeah, so Lala comes in. Katie's got a hair of the dog. She's got Chick-fil-A for them to eat. She
Yes.
talks about how fun Classic Cat was. Satchel and Katie apparently went full blown nonstop makeout the entire time, the entire night. Lala said, "I couldn't even see your guys' faces. It looked like two mops were rustling around."
They're like two lumps on a log.
Two lumps infatuated with each other, nonstop kissing. And then Lala asks Katie, she goes, "What did Satchel think of everybody?" And I was like, okay, I get to hear something that Satchel has said. I'm so excited. And she
Well-
sort of deflects and she says, he was fine. It was me who was worried about bringing him out. And I'm like, that's not what Satchel said. What did Satchel say?
Yeah. Well, also Lala called him Satch.
Yeah, well, she's already implying that like he's a part of the group, and she's trying to like say, Satch is here to stay.
I can't deal with Satch. And then can we also have a moment of silence for Lala's like Cholita outfit? Like, she needs to stop.
Oh, I didn't. Man, I watched these episodes so many times, but I'm not detail oriented. What was she wearing?
She was wearing a bandana do-rag style with
Okay.
big hoop earrings and like a t-shirt with the sleeves rolled up. Like she was trying to serve like hood rat, and I'm like, I can't deal with this any longer. You have a child, you live in an apartment I don't know where she lives anymore, but I'm like, the jig is up. Like, she's kind of chilled out a little bit on her, what you would call maybe a black scent. In
Yes.
the earlier seasons, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was. Some of the most cringeworthy things, came from Lala during that like phase. But yeah, if I would have noticed her outfit, maybe I would have thought about it more. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I don't know. Lala always has the very eccentric styles, I guess. But
Yeah, she does. I mean, her body's popping. I also noted, this is less interesting to you, but interesting to me, that both Lala and Katie have very good eyebrows. I don't think your TikTok serves you this, but mine does. TikTok, there's a filter that's all the rage right now where you put a filter on your face and it tells you where your eyebrows should go. Have you seen this?
No, but let me pull up TikTok now. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I would like to see that. But it says where they should go.
Yeah, like it's like there's like I forget what it's called. It's like the rules of, there's like a mathematic formula for like how
for where they
should be, and it's like most people's aren't far enough in. Like mine need to come in a little further. They need to go at a certain arch and then like a certain length out. And when I was looking at Katie and Lala's brows, I was like, I bet they pop off on that filter. Like they don't need to do anything. But I digress.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I'm trying to think of what I was going to say about that. Has it made you rethink your eyebrows at all? Like, do you want to adapt to that filter, or were yours pretty spot on?
No, I need to do some filling in for sure. I've been staring at my brows in this Zoom the whole time, which is actually maybe one of the reasons to not record this way.
No, and I would have said your brows like look great. It doesn't look like they need anything, but I can't see your face at all because you are so pixelated. I can only see how I look in my view, so I can't even see your eyebrows. I know you have them. I can see them above your eyes, but it's so pixelated that I can't see them. So
Good. I like that.
Yeah. But you're right that eyebrows are so essential to, how someone looks, because when you see people without eyebrows, sometimes it is slightly jarring. Not saying it's like impossible to overcome, but it is a little jarring when you see people without eyebrows. Like if you remember in Sopranos when AJ gets his eyebrows shorn off on Sopranos, do you remember that scene?
Yeah.
Tony's like, "What's different about you?" But he can't tell. You remember? And Carmela's like, "He's got no eyebrows." He goes, "He's got no eyebrows, Tony." Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So then, but this scene, besides showing how hungover they are from the classic cat, this scene was about informing Lala that Katie called Tom out on the Abbey story that people have seen Sandoval and Raquel dancing at the Abbey. That was it. And Katie says, I would never be alone dancing with Sandoval at the Abbey. I've known him for 11 years or however long. So she's just informing Lala. I think that was the purpose of the scene. Just informing Lala. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
My first thing to say, because I'm rude, was that why would you be dancing with Sandoval after hours? Because you guys don't like each other.
True.
That's
She
number
used
one.
herself. Yeah, she used herself as an example, which, it doesn't make the most sense. But then Sandoval uses her as an example for something else,
Right.
like in terms of like what you would do intimately with someone. It's like, you guys never would do anything like that.
I know, it's true. Yeah, later Sheena uses the same example for herself where I'm like, yeah, if I saw Sheena and Sandoval dancing at the Abbey, I wouldn't be suspicious in the slightest, personally.
Yes, yes, and we're gonna get to this, but I'm gonna just say it up front that well, no, I'm just gonna wait. It's just about the Abbey dancing, but that comes up so much, so I'll just wait. Was there anything of note? I mean, my only I was bummed that I don't have any record of Satchel having an opinion on anything, and he still hasn't said one word. So the opportunity for Katie to say what Satchel said, I felt was thwarted again, and
Yeah.
then. Throughout this episode, I just have Satchel says one word, I think, on camera where his mouth is moving and you can see him say it. I have no sense of Satchel, even though I'm pro Satchel.
Yeah, he's mostly just like at one point, Schwartz says hi to him, and he's kind of just like mouths the words like "hello," like no sound
Yeah.
comes out.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah.
are we able to blow past to the Yeasty Boys scene?
Yes,
Are you
let's
ready
hit
to?
it.
Okay.
The Yeasty
Let's hit
Boys
it.
truck parked in Studio City, outside of the defunct hobby store, which closed recently, which is very sad. I could tell exactly where they were.
Whoa. Megan, noted something which I thought was interesting. She said that Yeasty Boys is never not jam packed with people. So the fact that Tom and Tom got there right away either shows that indicates that they are just filming and they shut it down for them to have an hour scene, or maybe they went like right when it opened. But was that suspicious at all to you that Yeasty Boys was just abandoned?
Yeah, I also I could be wrong, but it's almost always in Silver Lake and Los Feliz. I mean, maybe they do go to the valley sometimes, but I was surprised to see it there because it's almost always in Silver Lake Junction or on Hillhurst in Los
Okay.
Feliz. And so I literally went there like a week ago when it was
Oh,
by
how
my
is
house.
it?
It's good. It's good. Yeah, I also remember that when Kanye did his latest anti-Semitic rant, the Yeasty Boys uh bagel truck on Instagram was like, Kanye is banned from Yeasty Boys, and I was like, was
Oh,
Kanye going to Yeasty Boys?
I bet he was. Oh man.
He
Wow.
cannot get his schmear there anymore.
No, yeah, I bet he was there like every other day, and now he can't go. He's probably bummed about that.
Yeah,
Um,
so yeah, that was kind of funny. That whole scene felt a little bit, I don't know what they were doing there. It was so weird. So it felt very much like we need Schwartz and Sandoval to have a moment. Let's figure out where it's going to be because we need them to have this conversation.
yes, and this conversation, to me, was yeah, it felt odd. It didn't feel like a normal conversation that these, guys who've known each other forever, best friends, would talk about. Schwartz starts out with how he doesn't have any sexual attraction to Raquel, sexual chemistry with Raquel. He has such a reverence for her, which he keeps saying, which is the opposite of he's yeah, he just says, I do not want to pursue Raquel anymore. And then Tom is stunned that he's not attracted to her, which was sort of interesting. And he talks about that in the Howie Mandel interview. He's like, I
Mhm.
was hyping this, Raquel up to Schwartz, and Schwartz is like, I'm not attracted to her. I'm not attracted to her. I'm like, really? And I think that's the scene that he's kind of talking about in the Howie Mandel interview. Because,
Mhm.
he can't believe that Schwartz isn't attracted to Raquel.
Yeah, I feel like this is the first kind of, you can see the wheels turning in Sandoval's mind of how he's supposed to be talking about this. You could
Yes.
just see when Schwartz is like, yeah, I don't know why I'm not more attracted to her, and Sandoval's like, really? He's really laying it on thick where you're like, this feels like, I don't know, you're being very careful about what you're saying, or the whole point of this conversation is kind of a red herring.
Yes. Well, I think I thought that Sandoval is acting weird because he has already established a relationship with Raquel, so he knows that everything he says it has, that's in his mind when he's talking. So yeah, I felt like he seemed actory when he said, "Really?" and "Oh, you're not
Yeah.
into her," and "You don't have to be into her." But I thought that Schwartz was oblivious in this scene. I actually still think that he didn't know, because I don't think he would say. I don't think he'd be could pull off the I think Raquel has a crush on someone else and
Mhm.
use that in a scene talking to Sandoval and pull it off, knowing what he does. If Sandoval had actually kissed, or do you think was that to throw us off? It's like, oh, he would have never said that in a scene if he actually knew that Sandoval and Raquel were kissing. That's
Right.
kind of a mystery to me.
What is the supposed timeline again? Schwartz only admits to knowing in January, right? That's what he says.
He heard in August that they had their first
affair.
one night stand, their first
Okay.
kiss that they were so shocked by. So I don't know if he had already known, but why would he say, I think Raquel has a crush on someone else? I mean, that's clearly very
Right.
leading to say, especially right to Sandoval, right?
Yeah, it was very weird. And yeah, the entire thing, Schwartz is like off his game. Like, I'm like, basically every time Schwartz talks anytime recently, I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, he's just like, he has like no control over any situation. Like, he's like wandering the earth, just like bumbling around. Like, I basically, like, I just wrote down, what is this conversation? Like, he was just like trying to give him advice about Ariana. And like, I'm sorry, but like literally the last person on earth I want relationship advice from is Schwartz. Like, are you
Right.
serious?
I totally agree. It's Schwartz without Katie. Something really changed when he is the full focus of our attention. Something has happened. Like, he is adrift majorly,
Yeah.
and my
Yeah.
perception of him has really changed. In this episode, this could be called the fall of Schwartz again.
Yeah.
You could say the exact same thing, because this was Schwartz was so like humiliated in this episode, like really,
Yeah.
like the worst I've ever seen him again. And I thought I had seen his worst in that 2 episodes ago. I mean, I guess just to get in the details of the scene, this is Sandoval for the first time telling the audience that him and Ariana are not doing good at all, to the point where he says in his confessional, I'm questioning whether we're right for each other. So if we hadn't known Sandoval had happened and he hadn't cheated and they were going to break up at the reunion like he planned or something, or say they were broken up, this would have been the first shocking scene. We would have been so shocked had Sandoval not happened, right?
Yeah. It's very funny that, because I think the stuff that he was saying about the eggs and everything was like valid. Like, I think he had the same questions that kind of we all had, where it's like, what's the plan with that? Like, he was saying, like, are we going to have kids when we're in our 50s? Like, I also have that question. But despite all of their problems, his one thing that he thinks makes him so defensible and a great partner is that he makes her a dumpling latte every morning, and that she's so grateful that he does that.
And then Schwartz goes, and does she do anything for you? And he goes, no. Just like when he got Jax that gift, and he got Jax the samurai sword, and the producer asked him, what has Jax ever gotten you? And he goes, nothing.
But yeah, I'm like, okay, you make your wife coffee in the morning, like, fucking congrats. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah, for real.
Shut up.
And Ariana doesn't do anything for you reciprocal in any way. That's not like some tangible thing that you can point to. It's like, yeah, right. He brings up the exact same dumb and annoying thing, which I honestly feel that is the crux of why Sandoval started to cheat. That is it. His ego was being deflated. His inflated ego was being deflated by Ariana every time she was upset with him. Every time she said, please don't yell at everyone again like you always do, which he does. He constantly does it. He's constantly just yelling at the group when he disagrees with them. She said, I don't want another Tom versus the girls fight. Yeah, and so he brought that up again to Schwartz, and Schwartz sounds like he has heard this before, not on camera, because he's not surprised at all that Sandoval is feeling this way. This is the 3rd time they've had this talk, not the first time they've had this talk.
Yeah. I mean, for sure. And then, like, that wasn't even like that bad of like an example. Like, they cut back to that pool party thing, and I was like, yeah, like, you were being annoying, and like, she was like, I don't want to be here for this. Like, you're being annoying. Like, and then of course
Yeah.
he turned it into like, he was like, she didn't even try and make it like, this is how you talk to women. She just said, like, Tom versus the girls, like, basically, like, saying he was like inserting himself in like the women's business. And he turned
Yeah,
it
he
into
made
this like feminism thing of like, you talk down to women or something. And I was like, she literally didn't say that. Like, she could say
yeah,
that.
yeah.
She
He made
maybe
it sound
wouldn't be wrong, but that's not
yes.
what she said.
He made it sound much worse. Like he
Mhm.
took that so much worse than it actually was. And in reality, he does do that. I'm defending someone from the wrath of everyone, and he does it all the time, like every
Yes,
4 episodes, and she's
he
tired
does
of it.
it
It's
multiple times to come in this episode.
yeah. Oh, he does, and he is so like it is so bad. It's just so off-putting now to see him in this new light. They both just
Yeah,
have this new light cast on them, and once you see them in this light, you can't unsee them. That's the most shocking as we go through these these episodes.
yeah.
So do you think we did that Yeasty Boys scene justice?
Yeah, let's move on to we're back at Allie and James's apartment. They're hungover as fuck, and James is making PB&Js, which they give us plenty of footage of him making those PB&Js.
I think I was like writing so furiously that I don't look up, so I didn't even see him. But I heard him say that PJs help his tummy after a hangover.
Yeah, they kept just like like pulling in on like him putting the PB&J on the bread, and like I got like footage of every step along the way. And then
Well,
they cut to we got another appearance from Allie's cat, Mr. Banks. He got a
I
nice
saw that.
shot, and I was very happy about that.
Yeah, I really liked that. I was gonna say last week, this is like the cat era of Vanderpump Rules. The classic cat, Mr. Banks, Ariana and Tom's cat. Like this is kind of fun seeing this cat energy.
Yeah, I love it. We should make merch of all the cats.
Oh, we should. The cats of Vanderpump Rules. Mr. Banks.
Save them.
So this scene felt functional to me, very functional, not
Yeah.
very quick, very functional. Do you think was there anything of note other than just talking about what this scene was used for?
No, yeah. It was just like was it so they brought up Allie brings up the Abby thing again, right? Does that
She
happen
brings
here?
up the she brings up the Abby thing to James, but then she adds a new element to it, which is that Katie implied that Ariana and Tom don't have a lot of rules in their relationship, so this might not be something to take too dramatically in the friend group, which Allie then tells James, and James says, it sounds like she's implying that they have an open relationship. So James is the one that really brings open relationship. It's a snowball. Allie
Yeah.
saw something that she didn't think was that weird, but she talked about it with, the cast. Then Katie thinks it's a little more weird, and then James gets that snowball to a full, huge ball and says open relationship, which is then carried
Yeah.
that snowball, and then James is then coaching Allie about what to do with this information, sort of like how Sheena coaches Raquel. You can see it very clearly.
Yeah.
She's like, "Should I tell Ariana?" He goes, "No, no, no. Ariana is, away. This would be a powerful scene if you told it to Sheena because she's Ariana's best friend. You know what I
I
mean?"
screamed. I screamed when he said that. I was like, not Sheena being at the center of every single thing that she has nothing to do with.
Yeah, he goes, bring it to Sheena. So Sheena then gets a scene, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, I felt like that scene was just, how do I get Allie to tell Sheena this news? The open relationship news.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there was nothing organic about that. It was basically like James put on his producer hat and was like, okay, so call up whatever bar they go to that has skee ball, and you guys will be there Tuesday at 2 p.m. Like, go have that conversation. We'll get that footage, and thank you.
Exactly. Exactly. That felt very functional, that scene.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so now we yet again visit something about her, which, as we've said before, looks exactly the same if you walk by there right now as it does when they're sitting in it on like some stools in, August, September.
Yes. And Ariana walks in and she says, "We're leaseholders and I interpreted that to mean that they would be starting work on something about her when this scene happened. I think this is in September now, late.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, like you just said, it does not look any different right now than it did right then. So something happened to something
Yeah.
about her where it was put on the back burner, right? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. They're going around like brainstorming ideas, and they're like, as long as it's not shiplap, which insult to Joanna Gaines, Chip and Joe. I'm a stan. The shiplap.
w-
Have you heard about this? Do you know this?
no, but please, I was just going to say, expound on it for people who, are interested in this. I am interested, but I have no idea what they meant, and I don't know what that word means.
It's kind of like a joke across America at this point that like, so you know about Chip and Joanna Gaines of HGTV fame, Magnolia fame.
You know what? I don't. And I wanted to ask you
Oh.
someday if we can start another podcast where it's called Pop Culture and you tell me everything that's happening that's non Bravo related and I ask questions. So maybe this can be a small taste of it.
Oh.
Who are
Yeah.
Chip and Joanna Gaines?
All right. Well, first of all, we have to get you a Discovery Plus login. I don't know. Is actually I have a question. Do you know if Discovery Plus is getting rolled into what is now called Max?
Wow, you just teed me up for a question that I know the answer to, which I love. Yes, it's going to be a part of the Max umbrella, and Discovery Plus is going to be disintegrated into the
Okay.
ether, and now Max is going to be a hub for all that content.
Okay, well, great. Well, then you will have access to the entire Chip and Joe oeuvre. They are the stars of HGTV. They have a show called Fixer Upper. It's like the
Okay.
biggest show in our nation. Like they are
Wow.
America's sweethearts. They're on the cover of like People magazine. They're so famous. Like seriously, they're so famous and so rich. It's crazy.
And it's not Chris Gaines.
No. As in Garth Brooks.
As in the Garth Brooks alter ego. He doesn't have a fixer-upper show with a co-host, right?
I mean, to be honest, I've never seen them in the same place at the same time, so
Okay.
we can talk
All
about
right, so
it.
okay, so Chip Lap, I'm sorry. So they are powerful
Chip
and
lap, I like that crossover.
wait, isn't that what you
Ship lap.
Okay. All
But
right. So what is
Chip,
Chip Lab and what is okay, Chip Lab. Okay, so
Chip
what are
and
these people?
Joe. So Joanna is a designer and Chip is like a contractor, and they flip houses for a living.
Okay.
And she iconically, her style, it's evolved over the years, but the kind of joke is that she puts shiplap on every single house that she does, which actually is kind of like this. I'm pointing to the beadboard in my breakfast nook that I'm sitting in, but essentially like wood planks on the wall to give things like a cottagey vibe. They are located in Waco, Texas. So now it's kind of like a joke, like, people are like anything but shiplap because it's so overdone because of her.
And it's called Ship
Lap.
Lap because it's like wood planks. And you said
Yes.
LAP, right?
Yes.
Okay. Ship Lap. And then they must be HTTV people and they're like making a joke because it's just so oversaturated.
Yes, like I would say that's like you could probably make that joke to most women in America and they know exactly what you're talking about.
That's amazing. And so maybe there's, a small percentage of people that are like me who didn't know, and this was informative, I hope.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, I was like, you guys wish you could hire Joanna Gaines to design something about her. It would look beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. So do you think that they do wish that?
Probably they should.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so then they
Lisa like lurks out from the corner. She's already there. She's been like in the like mini fridge in the back waiting for them to get there.
Yeah, you heard a creak, and then Ariana and Katie got a little startled, and Lisa was just sort of vegetating in that mini fridge, and she comes out and she goes, "Are you gonna have fake flowers in here?" Or she starts to ask what the vibe is gonna be like. Tell me your vision. She sits him down and she
Yeah.
goes, "Tell me your vision."
What's going on here? But
Yeah,
she seriously does seem to enter from the back as if there's like a secret passageway from Sir, which there should be.
Well, I mean, there probably is. I mean, this is Vanderpump Alley or whatever, Vanderpump Row. Like, she probably has the keys to every building on
Do
that
you,
strip.
do you think it's the way that like the Pope has like a secret escape channel like out of the Vatican? Do you think that
Of
she
course
can
it is.
through an underground tunnel access all three restaurants?
Yes, on a See You Next Tuesday when everyone is packed in there to the gills and you can't even, like, you get out. You think Lisa is just going to try to get out the front door. She's got an escape hatch for her and Ken. It's like a tube that they enter and they can just shoot out somewhere in West Hollywood.
They have like the Willy Wonka glass elevator that just drops
Yeah,
them
exactly.
back at
Goodbye.
Villarosa.
Yeah, exactly. You don't. Yeah, they do not have to drive anymore from Villa Rosa to their restaurants. They have like some secret way to get there for sure. It's yeah. So this was Lisa's sort of like yeah. What's your vision? Flowers. Put fake flowers there. Get started immediately, please. Because you don't want this thing waiting until next year when Amy and Riley see it and there's going to be no work done. So you guys should get started immediately. And then she goes, "Now tell me about Lala's birthday." And I was like, "Why are you asking about Lala's birthday? What do you think happened at Lala's birthday?"
Yeah, and then she's like, the way the conversation goes, is this maybe the very first time in history that LVP is defending a married man making out, having a snog with someone else? Because I feel like usually she's on the other side of the coin.
I know, but I think she really believes, like Garcelle. She's asking Garcelle for the actual
The tea.
the actual situation, the tea. And Garcelle and Oliver are telling her that I am trying to get divorced. We still kiss and make love, and I do maybe say we could go back together at some point, but I don't know. I mean, I know it was bad, but I think Lisa thinks with 100%, her in her brain, she thinks this is a fact that Oliver is leaving his wife, despite what
Yeah.
Oliver is actually doing. I have to just defend her on that. I might be wrong.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree that he probably was getting a divorce, but he was handling it in a very messy way where the women that were partaking were not clear on exactly how it was going down. So that's
Yes.
a problem. But
You're
like,
right. You're
I
right.
feel like usually Lisa would err on the side of the wife, despite whatever complications there are. But I feel like she was specifically choosing to defend Raquel in this situation out of, I don't know if she felt sorry for her or whatever, but she was basically
she's very
like, yeah.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say she's very implicated in this whole storyline, so I feel like it is up to her to defend Oliver and Garcelle, by proxy because of her friendship with Garcelle. So I feel like that is why she's so defensive about the Oliver thing. And then Ariana and Katie are not having it at all. They're like, that was a horrible situation.
Katie takes this opportunity to once again, she didn't go as far as whore, but she says, she's a hoe. She's a hoe.
She's a hoe. Yeah, that's like our stinkers versus shitheads.
Yeah.
She gave her the soft version of it.
Hoe versus whore.
Yeah, but then Katie kind of deflates it a little bit. She calls herself. She goes, "I'm a hoe too."
Yeah. Do you spell hoe with an E or just H-O?
I haven't
In
said
your
it or
notes.
thought about it. I haven't. Oh, good. Yes. Yeah, no, I spelled it like ho, 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 like Santa Claus, H-O. And I think
added
that
an
the
E.
TV did. Okay. I think the TV did too. I think hoe is like a garden hoe is H-O-E. But I haven't thought about the word hoe at all since you and I have started talking about it this season. No one says it. Right.
Which is it 40-Year-Old Virgin or which Apatow movie is it? Where is it? They go, she's a hoe, faux show, and it's like the most like 2010 joke of all time.
Yeah, that sounds like a Judd Apatow stinker joke. That you can't even. I think he had to fully denounce 40-Year-Old Virgin because of the humor, like the how I know you're gay scene.
Oh,
like
God,
nothing
that's
lands
awful.
more. Nothing lands more like a brick than that scene. Like, could you imagine making a movie and it has a scene that is so vile that you're so embarrassed by that you barely can even recommend it to people? That's shocking.
No, it's upsetting. There's one joke in 40-Year-Old Virgin that I like. That's the most benign vanilla joke of all time. And I really always think about it. you know, Steve Carell is trying to not look like a freak, and so he boxes up his entire apartment because there's like toys
Yeah,
everywhere, and Catherine
all
Keener's
his
coming
figurines.
over, and he looks
Yeah,
so much weirder for having an empty apartment, and it's so dumb.
yeah.
She like peeks in and she's like, "Are you moving?" And he's like, he, he's like, he said, he says that they're gonna look under the hardwoods to see if there's carpet underneath.
That's that's a very good simple joke. I do like that. It's like the excuse you'd come up with like on the fly. That's that's pretty good.
Because, you know, I love in most houses built before a certain time, if they are carpeted, there's going to be some nice hardwoods underneath. You know what? It's a
Yeah,
great
yeah,
value. You can
yeah,
restore them for not a lot of cost. So I like
yeah.
that joke.
Yeah, that is pretty good. So, amidst some horrific jokes that you can't even watch 40-Year-Old Virgin for, there is some good humor in there, which I agree. I'm not fully saying that's a horrific film.
Yeah. So
Um,
that was my Apatow minute. We'll move on.
yeah, no, I like it. I know that there's, yeah. I mean, I used to be a huge Apatow fan. I just feel like his humor, we've evolved past the like reference humor that his humor is so known for, like you know
Yeah.
what you look like and all that kind of stuff.
I
But
mean, I recycled a joke earlier when you were saying you were breathing heavily, and it might be from 40 Year Old Virgin or Knocked Up, I don't remember, but Seth Rogen says that he's breathing like James Gandolfini. And I said that earlier, knowing full
you're right,
well what
exactly
it
right.
was from.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's great. That's great. So pivoting out of the 40-Year-Old Virgin minute,
Yeah.
um,
We are
I
in.
like, yeah.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead, please.
Okay. I was excited again because James and Lala go to a bar that's across the street from my house. We're in Los Feliz.
I knew it. I knew I had seen that sign. I got a tingle like Amy is going to be excited about this. I loved the vibe. I loved the sign. I love how it looked. And I was like, I think I see that when I drive. Well, oh, I don't want to specify where you live, but you just did. But
Very
I've
close
seen
to
that
this
on the
place.
way. Yes, but I've seen that and I was like, whoa, I love this place. That is so cool that they're there.
Yeah, it's the bar that's attached to the restaurant Home, like the
Right.
breakfast spot or whatever. Which I've only been to this place, the guest house, like once or twice, and now I'm like, I guess I have to go back. James ordered the Purple Rain, so maybe after
Hmm.
this I'll go get one.
Okay. Yeah, that looked so fun. I wanted to race over there too.
Yeah, maybe next week if you come back over when you're not infected anymore, we can go there.
Yeah, if I ever shake this thing, I will definitely go to the guest house. So this scene was notable in a few ways. Most importantly, though, James lets Lala know that next week he is performing at Imagine Festival, which is a huge festival in Atlanta, he says, and he is
Yeah.
going to be opening for Cascade, which is a huge electronic DJ. I mean, I'm not fully
Okay.
familiar, but I know that name. You know, huge. And he tells Lala. They don't show Lala's reaction to hearing that news. I don't know if he had already said it to her before, but she doesn't say "I'm proud of you" or anything. They sort of get sidelined or whatever.
Hmm.
And I also noticed that he said "I'm opening for Cascade," and then I think the producers tried to like shade him a little bit by showing Cascade's name in huge font, and then they sort of went like with a magnifying glass. They went like James Kennedy's down here, and I thought that was like so rude in a way. Like,
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they kind of did the scan down, like, look how far on the, it's like the Coachella poster jokes where, like, what's at the bottom.
yeah, but it's like that dig has no merit to me. He's performing at the festival. They have names
Right.
next to him of people who've worked their entire lives to be there. He should be so proud. And that I think Lala's no response and the shade he got from the producers, like he didn't know that at the time, but all of this like derision is what culminated in that beach scene,
Yeah,
for him.
he's really trying to defend his own honor because he's clearly so proud and excited. So anyone that's like gonna make fun of that or not, be excited about it, it really hurts his feelings. It's sad.
Well, definitively, yeah, I am stating with my wholehearted endorsement, James, you should be proud of this. Don't ever let anyone take this away from you. It is a huge honor to DJ at a festival like that. And I hated how everyone acted about it. Like, he should be so stoked. And then he pivots to ordering a taco salad after Lala orders a taco salad. And then he
Yes.
says, you go ahead.
I also wrote this down. He says, Allie just showed me my first taco salad from Mendocino Farms. And I was like,
Yeah.
I love that he said that. It's so dumb.
Me too. I loved it too. I love it too. I love a Mendocino Farms reference. This is the second one now in Vanderpump Rules history after Stassi said
Yes.
all their houses look like Mendocino Farms. I just love that he
That's
was
true.
so proud. He was so proud to tell Lala that Allie showed him a taco salad. I just thought that was so sweet. It's just like such
Yeah.
an off the cuff, strange remark that I liked.
Also, when Christina Kelly, I think it was last week, when Christina Kelly goes over to Lala's apartment and they're talking shit about Raquel and Oliver, they're eating Mendocino Farms. So
Oh, they are. Okay,
I
yeah. So I'm
noticed.
loving. We are very connected to the establishments in this episode. I'll just say, and that was like 5% of my enjoyment for this episode was because of how connected I felt to all of these places.
totally. Yeah. So I did love that this felt like classic James and Lala. Like, it reminded you like of their original connection where they really just crack each other up and are very similar in a lot of ways. And what was he saying about what's his reference to the size of his cock? What was he talking about?
He said something about his ego or some. Oh man, why didn't I not write that down? It's in one of my notes, but it's something about his ego or someone else's ego will be the size of his cock. Man, why did I not write that down? Yeah, but he does make a reference to having a gigantic penis.
Yeah,
man,
and
I
she
wish I would have
goes,
written that down.
He's like, that whatever reference is less like the size of my cock, and Lala goes, so small, and he's like, really, really.
He was so. I was shocked by that. He was so bummed out. Why would you say his penis is so small? Like, that is going to be that's going to be in Vanderpump Rules forever. He's shocked by that, and then she tries to deflate it. I've said deflated so many times. She tried to soften it by saying, I was a returning customer for your small dick twice. It's like, that's not. You didn't just get out of the woods with that. Why is she acting like this to James? Lala is like secretly a James hater. Yeah,
she always kind of like kicks him little curveballs. And then he yet again talked about his genitals when he said, like, she said, like, what are you doing this weekend or something? He said, just sitting around scratching my balls. And then she's like, you have a girlfriend now to scratch your balls. And I was like, is that a thing?
Yeah, it totally is. Everyone is just scratching balls all the time. I wrote Lala just diminished him as a person. Like I thought that was offensive. Even if she was saying it as a joke, James is not the person where you just say his penis is small on camera. She also didn't respond to his performance. I don't know, his performance at Imagine. I don't know if that was cut out or not, but that didn't get as good of a reaction that I thought a friend of his would say. But anyway, all that aside, then he just talks about how he wants to have a beautiful beach day, and he's not going to disinvite anyone because he knows what it feels like, because throughout the series, he has been disinvited from more things than anyone in the history of Vanderpump Rules. So he's like, everyone gets to come to beach day, which I thought was very sweet.
Yeah.
Very nice.
No, he's had so many moments of growth, and that was one of them, him. And I love that he said, like, the only thing worse than Raquel coming to the beach day would be everyone, like, bugging me about why she's not there.
Yeah, I loved that too. I love that too. Oh, and also another nice thing he says, I'm glad I didn't forget. Lala is making fun of Raquel, saying Allie has a brain when I talk to her. She's really smart. Raquel acts like a Stepford wife, which I agree, a little bit robotic is I think what she meant. And then James says, I think you can let it go now. She's already been, dragged by social media. You already have the upper hand. I think you should just leave Raquel alone, which again, that was really nice of him.
No, totally.
Like,
I was like, that was amazing. He was like, that was very, yeah, like big of him, you know, like he was like that. It felt so right. Like it was like, yeah, like I feel like you could say that about literally all drama on the show where if you acted that way, there would be nothing left. If you were just like, why are you in their business? Like, mind your business, move on, it's fine.
yeah,
Then,
we
like, we wouldn't
can't.
have
Right.
anything to talk about. But, like,
Right.
in that moment, I was like, yeah, like, leave her alone.
Yeah, no, yeah, I felt that too. I was like, that is really, yeah, I keep missing the word, but that was just like, that felt very genuine and not for any like still a love for Raquel. It just felt like this is the right thing to do now for
Mhm.
all of us. Like, let's just
Yeah.
leave Raquel alone.
Yeah, it felt very
Um,
clean, like, no
yes,
strings, just like a true moment of zen, which was
yeah,
very nice.
yeah,
Also, I'm gonna call this out here, which he makes the funniest faces in the world,
yeah,
and his we haven't, you know, we'll touch on it at the end, but his Watch What Happens live appearance was a whirlwind of hilarious moments. He's so funny, but he
yeah,
makes like all the funny faces that like Trump makes, like just like
yes,
punctuating with like pursed lips, and like it's
yeah,
so funny. I'm like, I'm
yeah.
thank God for him. I love him. Like I was laughing my ass off basically at every single thing he said.
He is such a comedic person. He's so funny. I mean, I have to say, like, I just off the cuff, I do think he's like the funniest one out of them. Like Lala is really
Totally.
funny, even though I don't agree with her. I think Schwartz can be very funny, more of
Yeah.
like a lazy humor, but he's really funny. But those are like the top three, for me
Yeah.
in terms. And James might be number one, like actually the funniest.
No, yeah, he's like hilarious. Like he talks so fast and he just like comes up with like a zinger a minute. They're always like out of
Yeah,
left field, like Mr. Buzz Button. Like that one took us a minute, but like he just had that ready.
yeah, genius level quips. So clever in his confessionals, can make them all laugh. He was, I mean, we don't, it goes without saying, for me, he was absolutely the MVP of this episode. And we haven't even gotten to his best moments. We
Oh my
have,
God.
I just want to, for the listener, we only have two scenes until we get to the final two powerful scenes. And I love every scene we've talked about. Like there was something of
Yeah.
note with every scene, maybe except the something about her sandwich scene. That's the only one that I could take or leave. But
Yeah.
yeah, we're two scenes away, and then I think 25 minutes of the episode, like the back half, is all dedicated to the beach and the beach aftermath, which I loved.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So we are immediately transported to an upsetting scene where Sandoval immediately insults all of the medical industry, in my opinion, by telling the receptionist slash nurse that he is there for his jizz results. His jizz results.
Okay, I have a question. Was he trying to be funny for the camera, or does he just so often reference sperm and semen as jizz that he thought that was the nomenclature to use at the doctor's office? What do you think?
Yeah, it felt like he was being an asshole. Like it felt like I so don't want to be here, or like just like I have no respect for this process. Like I'm so not taking this seriously that like
Yeah.
who gives a fuck? I'm here for my jizz results. Bleh.
I jizzed earlier, and you guys have it. I wanted to see what's up with it.
Even Schwartz
They
was
don't
like,
even. He goes, not cool, dude. Did you just call it jizz? That was not cool.
like even Schwartz was horrified, which is like rare. I feel like it's usually the opposite.
Yeah, it's usually Schwartz making the inappropriate, awkward joke, and Sandoval's like, "Come on, dude, come on." But yeah, Sandoval just like rolled in. He just lazily says, "I'm here for my jizz results," and then it doesn't even show what the nurse or the receptionist even said to him after that.
Yeah, they like walk away immediately. I just wrote down
Yeah.
jail exclamation
Yeah.
point. Jail. I
Yeah.
hated it. I was like, that's so fucking rude. Like, are you kidding
Yeah,
me?
I think you're right. I think it had a tossed off vibe. Like he is, yeah, not taking this seriously. So that's why he just couldn't even call him the official name, clinical name, sperm or semen. He was just like, I'm here to collect my jizz, or I'm here to
Yeah,
analyze my jizz.
like I guess like we have to do this because it's like on the
Yeah.
books or whatever. But like, also I think this is the first time we see his confessional look for this episode, which he's serving full Dancing with the Stars cha-cha like flamenco outfit. Like, what the fuck is wrong with him?
Okay. Oh yeah, so that's the confessional look that he switches to. Is that what he has throughout this episode? Like when he
Yeah.
talks about the Raquel relationship, is that like his final look in the
I think
confessionals?
so. Yeah, it's like a
Okay.
black, tight, like very like Saturday Night Fever style shirt with gold polka dots that's like unbuttoned, and
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's wearing his little tight Pied Piper flared pants and like some little
Exactly.
platform
Yeah.
shoes. I'm just like with the mustache and the hair, I'm like, this is veering well into the costume territory. Like,
It's all very reflective of his hubris now. It is
Yeah.
he is indicating to everyone where his view of himself is right now, and these are all the accoutrements that he thinks go along with his new stardom. He thinks so they get into the doctor's office, and he immediately a horrible news is shared in this
Yeah.
doctor's office immediately. And it's that not only does Ariana within a week, it's been a week, has to deal with the death of her beloved dog of I
Yeah.
forget how many years it was, 12 or 17. It was a really, really long
Yeah.
relationship. Her grandma died suddenly and unexpectedly, and Ariana
Yeah.
is gone.
Ugh, pour one out for Grandma Bonnie. That was really sad.
Yeah, that was so sad. And then it was like interrupted because the doctor comes in with Tom's semen results. We got to hear very specifically what's going on with his semen. His results are double the amount of semen that you're typically supposed to have. So he has so much semen,
Yeah.
but
he
the
has a
morphology is
Yeah, he has a large load, but they're all deformed like
yeah,
Schwartz's.
yeah. It's a huge load, but for some reason, they didn't use the same terminology that they did with Schwartz. They said his morphology is low. It's like 6% when it should be 14%. But he said overall it's good. Come back in 3 months. He goes, stop wearing those pants that you're wearing. Stop doing drugs. And then Sandoval's like, I'm going to call Ariana. Can we have the office? And the doctor goes, okay, sure. And he has to leave his office for these guys to have their conversation.
That's such a like tenet of like housewives and like
It is.
reality
It
TV
is.
culture where it's just like, I'll leave you
Yes.
guys alone. Or like it'll be like they'll literally take like a yoga class and they'll just talk the entire time, and then like the trainer or whoever just has to leave, and then they just
Yes.
sit on the floor of the workout studio for like an hour, and you're like, you're
Yes.
inconveniencing everyone. Like, what is happening?
Yeah, they have to wait for you in their own space for you to have this conversation about what someone said the other week or whatever. Yeah. So this scene to me, like, the Ariana, like, what she's going through, that just hit me so hard because Sandoval is so withdrawn from her that he can't even take into account how horrible life must be for her right now with these two horrible things that happen, and he is still actively cheating on her during this time.
Yeah.
Like it's so sad to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's super bummer. It's like, ugh, I feel bad for her. Like, I feel like half the time this season when they cut to Ariana, she's like in bed. Like, I feel like she's just like so bummed out in this period
Yeah.
of time. And like, oh God, it's just like, yeah, for him to be like out prancing about in his little cha-cha outfits while she's like struggling is like so annoying. And then just like fucking, I wrote down frickin' frack here at the sperm sperm doctor, like just like two
For real.
morons. I used to be so charmed by their friendship, and now I'm like, the two of them together, I'm like, I can't even deal with this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then they call Ariana. She's being so sweet. She's just like, I'm emotionally exhausted, which
Yeah.
makes complete sense. And then I think Tom just signs off with like, and I love you, Dumplin', and like that's
I
the
know.
end of the scene.
Before this week, were we aware of this dumpling thing? Because I do not remember that.
Yes, I'll tell
Okay.
you. Let me take you through a
Take
history
me
of
back.
dumpling. So I think they've always called each other Dumplin', but it might not be a name that has been on the show a lot. But I know that when he used to celebrate her birthday on Instagram, he would call her Dumplin'. He would say
Okay.
like, "You are the light of my life, my Dumplin', my queen. I love you more than life itself." And then I think as we do our rewatch, you will hear him refer to her as Dumplin' at a certain point, like around season 5. So it
Okay.
is their Bubba, but you just don't
Okay.
hear it as often. But yeah, he
Which
calls it
one
a dumpling
is
latte.
yeah. Which one is
Yeah.
worse in your opinion? Dumplin' or Bubba? Which one would you rather be called?
I want to be called Bubba much more than I want to be called Dumpling. Dumpling is sort of hard
Yeah.
for me to say. I don't like
Yeah.
dump, and I
It
don't ever
doesn't
say
roll off the
dumpling.
tongue.
Yeah, so Bubba, I really like Bub and Bubba. I don't. I like that name. I mean, for the most
Yeah.
part. So yeah, I'm a Bubba guy. What about you?
Bub, yeah,
Same.
Bub is easier because it's like you can just be like, as they always do, go like
Bub.
Bubba, Bubba,
Yeah.
Bubba.
Yeah, Bub. Yeah,
When-
very, very low energy. You can just, yeah, Bub. Okay, one
um,
more scene
until the this is the penalty.
until the this was I hate to say it, but to me, like all I kept thinking about is this was structured sort of like a Game of Thrones episode where you're so thrown off by what the ultimate thing is going to be that like this they just had it waiting in the wings, fully backloaded. This like shocking 2 scenes I mean, it's basically one scene because they just travel to a bar after the beach, so it's just like one action-packed, amazing scene. This episode is so backloaded. I just thought it
Yeah,
was amazing how it was structured.
yeah. No.
Okay, but before we get into one of the most powerful scenes in Vanderpump Rules history, we have to take a little trip to All Seasons Brewery. That's what that place is called.
Oh, where is it?
It is like mid Wilshire is what you define, like way down on La Brea, like sort of that's west on La
Yeah,
Brea, right? Mid
like
Wilshire is
like LACMA-ish.
Yeah, I forget where LACMA is, and I'm so bad with geography, but we'll update everyone where exactly it is. But it's just down a little farther on La Brea west than I would typically go, But it's kind of far out, but I'd say it's mid Wilshire.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's
Uh,
new and it's wild. I've been there. I don't know if
it
that
looks really fun.
matters, but I went there once. Yeah, it was really fun. I think we should, after this season, we should do a tour of everything. Yeah, it's on La Brea, and what happens is it's called Mid Wilshire, and it is by the LACMA, not all the way there.
Okay.
You won't be able to see this through all the pixelation, but there's the LACMA, and then yeah. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, I loved the vibe of All Seasons. I liked that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I love skee ball, so I was interested right away.
Oh yeah, we have to go. I mean,
Yeah.
I want to go to Tower 12 like more than
Yes.
anything now in my life, and let's go back to All Seasons and have a fun day. It looked like a good day hang spot.
Yeah, totally. I know when they sat down, I was like, my mind was like, is that like at like the Santa Monica Pier or something? I like was trying to figure out where it was, and I was like, I want to go there. It looks fun. So yeah, it's on the list.
It was a former car repair shop, so it has the
Okay.
drive-in like area where cars used to go, but they revamped it and made it this bar. Yeah, and so this is where Allie chose to meet with Sheena so that she can let the open relationship rumor fly. Give it to Sheena
Yes.
and let Sheena handle it. This was the handoff, right?
Yes, yes. So yeah, how does this conversation begin? Like who like does Allie cue it up?
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So I have some thoughts. I was just going to breeze right by this scene so we could get to the heart of it, but there was actually some interesting things of note. First of all, the guy says, "Allie, would you like a spicy margarita?" And Allie is so in tune, with like astrology and stuff. She was like, "How did you know that I was going to order that?" And he said, "You look kind of spicy." And I was like,
Oh,
"God
yeah.
damn, that was awesome." I was like,
Yeah.
"Whoa." I mean, I would never say that to anyone, but I thought that was very interesting that guy let that run on camera. He wanted to say that.
I feel like I would like never serve Allie alcohol, even with showing her ID. I would like, if I were like a doorman, I would like tackle her and be like, "Get the fuck out of here! You're too young." Like,
Yeah,
she
yeah.
just looks
No,
like a
yeah.
little tiny baby.
Yeah. So they order their drinks and they have a little bit of a fluff conversation until Allie can get to the heart of what she wants to talk about. First of all, they talk about how Allie's relationship is with the other girls in the group. And Sheena asks how like her and Raquel are doing or something. And Raquel, they flash back to a scene where Raquel says to Sheena that Allie told James that Raquel is her favorite girl in the group. Did you note that and hear that? It's hard to explain, but so Allie said apparently that Raquel is her favorite person in the group.
Okay.
And I'm like, that cannot be true. That's her that's her favorite person is Raquel. What has Raquel done at this point? Like what conversations have she had that makes her like her more than I mean, I'm not saying like the other cast members are so amazing or whatever, but I find it hard to believe that Raquel is Allie's favorite person in the group.
Yeah, that's so weird. Maybe she feels bad.
Yeah,
for
so
her.
then
I don't know.
Yeah, it's possible. Raquel really lit up. She really lit up like a Christmas tree when she heard that. And then Sheena goes, "You can be mean. Tell me like who you hate in this group." Like obviously Sheena's not going to run wild with that information. And then Allie doesn't take the bait. She just says it's not normal to be around your exes. She said this is a unique friend group. Then she lets Sheena know about how when she saw Sandoval and Raquel dancing at the Abbey, what Katie said about the no rules, and then what James said about the open relationship. Sheena instantly just hears what Katie said, and she goes, "That is disgusting that Katie would ever imply that. It is absolutely, they do not have an open relationship. That is despicable that Katie would say that. I would text Ariana right now and tell on Katie if I could, but she's dealing with something, so I'm going to when we go to the beach, I am going to tell Sandoval immediately what Katie said. Yeah. And then I was like, okay. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, she was like, they're two of my best friends. Like, I would, this is the first I'm hearing of this. Like, she was like, she does not like to not be in the know, which also she seems to never be in the know.
No, she is so out of the drama of this season, and she's on the wrong side of the drama of this season. Yeah. But I loved when she said, "I'm going to go tell Sandoval immediately what Katie said," because I was like, "Yeah, I want to see the scene where you tell Sandoval to his face about this Abby rumor." And, we didn't mention. I don't think we mentioned at the guest house with James and Lala that he invited everybody to the beach. Did we? Did we just gloss over that? I mean, I know it's. I don't know. Anyway, it's not a big deal, but he just invites everyone to the beach. That's why we get this beach scene. So.
Yes. So this basically the like Allie and Sheena conversation is just for the crowd to just twist and turn in their seat with discomfort at how wrong Sheena is in her like assessment of the Raquel and the whole situation.
Yes. Sheena has the worst. Yeah, the worst side, in this whole thing, being Raquel's defender throughout, this entire season. That is the hardest for her to reconcile. And that's sort of the reason why she had such an outburst, after Watch What Happens Live, I think, with Raquel. So
yeah, I mean, I understand that is like embarrassing that she defended her so fervently, then for it all to be thrown in her face. That is embarrassing.
Yes, very embarrassing. Anything else of note at this all seasons brewery scene, which was sort of, functional?
I'm chomping at the bit to get to Hermosa Beach.
I'm chomping too, because then all I knew about the scene was that I was excited for James to throw a beer in Schwartz's face because I saw that, but I had no idea how much more visceral emotion and some pleasure I would get from seeing it actually happen and what caused it. It made it seem like I was watching it for the first time, despite me knowing this would happen at the beach.
Yeah.
So you ready? Or are we ready to talk beach and Tower 12?
Absolutely. I just love that because they're a little late on this trend and culture wise, but it does begin with a clear reference to Top Gun Maverick.
I'm so glad you. Yes, I said it too. It was It's Top Gun Maverick. They recreate the song. They find a rip-off version of the song, and they make it sepia toned, so it looks exactly like them playing football on the beach. Yeah, that was really like
I
Yeah,
see what you did there.
yeah, I've never gotten a reference. Yeah, I didn't know. I thought I might be like making some crazy like leap there, but the song, I listened to both the songs, and it's a total rip off of that song, and the way they do it. Yeah, I love that. I love a Top Gun Maverick reference. That was so fun.
Yeah, it was really fun, and it's hilarious how bad at sports these boys are. Like, I feel like Brock was like, "Come on, mates!" Like, I bet all of his other Australian bros would be running circles around these other guys.
Oh yeah, could you imagine them out there? They'd be like, yeah, beating everybody up and running around. It was they show cut after cut of like Schwartz missing and James getting hurt and James falling, and it's just such a silly way to start this scene,
Yeah, James is like stays on the ground for a while, like rolling around in the sand. He's
Yeah.
like in a silly mood, but that will end soon.
Oh yeah, he was being so silly. He was so happy to be at the beach. Him and Raquel have a decent rapport, like a fine rapport. Raquel says, "Is that your speaker? That's the same speaker I have." And he goes, "Oh yeah, that's amazing," or whatever. And it's just like,
So
okay,
boring.
this is starting off. Yeah, it was so boring, but it was starting off like fine and fun. Charlie meets Allie for the
Mhm.
first time. Raquel and Allie sit together. I was like, this is going well.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I was so excited because then after a little bit of time, the Dawn and Satchel arrived together.
Yes.
What were you thinking when they arrived?
I mean, it's like Satchel's wearing his little checkered Vans. That's his beach look.
Yes.
It was like the opposite of like Reservoir Dogs intro. It was like the worst group of all time, in my opinion.
You Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I have the opposite take. I was so happy they were there. I was so happy to see the Dawn and Satchel arrive together. I was like, I love this. And for some reason, I didn't even think that this is going to be Satchel and Schwartz meeting for the first time, even though I've seen this scene, forever.
Yeah.
I just had no idea. I didn't think about their interaction, so that was just like a bonus on top of this amazing scene for me.
Yeah, for sure. Also, I just want to quickly say that we see Allie and Raquel's interaction, and they, say they're getting along fine, but Raquel kind of like says something very passive aggressive where she's like, "You'll learn your lessons in your own time," which I'm like, I'd be like, "Fuck you," if someone said that to me.
A full blown fuck you. Raquel is trying to. She keeps thinking that she's warning everyone about James, and specifically Allie. This is the 10th time she's tried to talk to Allie about James. The 10th time that everyone has tried to talk to Allie about James. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was shocking. I forgot about that moment. That was wild to see her do that again.
Yeah, it's like, dude, don't worry about it. Just mind your business. It's fine.
Yeah. So Schwartz decides to let his thoughts be known about Satchel. He says, "Never in my wildest dreams would I ever dream up a guy like Satchel for Katie," which, you're sort of on the side of that, right?
I think most of America is. I am excited to see you build your case in defense of Satchel when he's giving you nothing but less than crumbs week after week.
No. Well, okay. Well, nothing is not negative. I obviously want to see him raise the bar from nothing, but so far I just cannot form an opinion on someone who has not said, anything. But I didn't like Schwartz saying that. It felt like if I was the new guy, I'm just imagining I'm Satchel, and you come to a group, and the X is like, this is his group, he runs it. He's known them all for 12 years, and he's talking shit about his like looks or his appearance. I thought that was really offensive, and I didn't like he tries to talk to Katie very naively, or his fake innocently or whatever.
Yeah.
She's not having it at all. She says her hi, and then she's like, "Don't talk to me anymore." And then he says about how like he can't believe that Satchel would be curled up with his dogs. Like that's the one thing he can't get over or whatever, which is another like what's that called? Another like charming like oh, isn't that so cute? He cares
like
about the dogs more than his manipulating the audience.
They chose a very
bit.
cute photo though. Like I'm not buying into what he's saying, but they show a cute picture of, did we decide if it's Butters or Butter? They changed the name.
it's still a complete mystery because Katie called him Butter in this episode, and then they captioned it Butters. So
Okay.
I think
Well,
the producers don't know what its name is.
yeah, they showed a very cute photo of he had his paws up like in front of Schwartz's eyes, and I was like, that's just a cute photo, anyways, because I like those dogs.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was
Well,
definitely trying to use them.
two Satchel things, really quick before I talk more about Satchel. First of all, he does say, "Where should we put our blanket?" And then he does say hi to Schwartz when Schwartz instigates a hello. So there was
Wow.
talking, but
Where should we
that's
put
not
our blankets? I think we should make some
Yeah.
t-shirts.
Oh yeah, So I think that but that's not still. I guess that's not enough for me to get a good read on him. But he did speak, just so you
Yeah.
know.
It's interesting. I feel like that you're giving him the full new boyfriend treatment as if he's an ally or something like that, whereas to me he's still very much like in a tertiary position similar to the Dawn, where it's like I don't anticipate seeing them for much longer.
Yeah, but the difference is I got a very good sense of the Dawn, and I loved every moment. I told you I need only like 10 sentences to be spoken before I have a full assessment of someone. The Dawn gave me 10 of the best sentences I've ever heard in my life, and I am fully on his side forever. But the Dawn did not speak once. The Dawn did
No.
not speak once at the
No.
beach or Tower 12.
Both Satch and the Dawn like were just sitting in silent horror as the events to follow unraveled.
I couldn't have loved it more that Satchel and the Dawn were there to witness this entire thing. Like, they were a part of history. I want to interview them so bad. I want Satchel to come on our podcast because I want to just ask him about that scene, what he was feeling through those moments, because I don't think him and Katie are dating anymore. But anyway, Sheena. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, did you see the meme? Danny Pellegrino posted a meme. I think I sent it to you, but there's a photo going around right now of Timmy Chalamet talking to Martin Scorsese, and it says Satchel and Ken talking about Scandival.
Yeah, I loved it. It was perfect. I mean, that was amazing.
Right on.
Yeah. So there's still some like fun, good beach vibes. The one last like dip into drama before the James and Schwartz drama is that Sheena decides to confront Sandoval just like she said she would, and she's very nervous to talk about it. Very, very nervous. You saw that, and Sandoval gets nervous, and she says, the Abby rumor basically, but she's fully cutting off Sandoval before he can even get out his rationale for it. She's like just so against Katie that she's barely even letting him speak. Did you get that sense?
Yeah, she's like painting the picture for him, so he just agrees. Like, basically he says one word, like, so she goes over to him, he's smoking a cigarette in the background, and she's saying like what she's heard, and then he's like, it's funny that you should say that. Like, he's really like, oh. Yeah. And then he basically says like, this, trial against Raquel is getting so intense, and then Sheena just immediately agrees and is like, yeah, now they're trying to bring you and Ariana into it. Like, she just immediately is like, it's a witch hunt. It's a witch hunt.
And isn't Katie the worst person in the world in all of history? Isn't this all about Katie and how awful she is? It's like, he's like, yeah, it is. It's all about Katie. That's awful. And he does say that like he wouldn't bring Raquel to the Abbey and dance there if he was trying to be secretive, which I would have normally agreed with, because the Abbey is right next to SUR. There has never been more runoff in bars than Vanderpump Row to the Abbey.
Yeah.
They do all hang out there all the time. I've seen them there. So you're right. It isn't a discreet place where you would dance with Raquel if something was going on, but you were, and you did. So that that argument is so strange.
If anything, it's like they're hiding in plain sight, because it would be more suspicious for them to go somewhere that felt weird. But if you're hanging out somewhere where you can say that and be like, why would I do it there? I feel like that's like lying 101 of like, do it, in the most obvious fashion so that no one will think twice.
Yeah, but then Abby did think it was, or Allie did think it was strange, and she brought it up, and then this got the whole like ball rolling. So yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah.
That scene made me a little like upset with Sheena just because she was giving him an out. She didn't even treat it like it was at all, of note, and just laid on the hate for Katie. And James got completely, he it wasn't mentioned once that he called it an open relationship. They're just conflating what Katie said with what James said.
Yeah. You know what I
yeah.
was thinking during this? I was thinking, Sandoval's a liar. Sandoval's a liar.
Sandoval's a liar. Yeah. So good. He was lying. I mean, yeah, we see him lie. We see him straight up lie like the worst ever, this episode. That confessional that we'll get to.
Yeah, he makes the bad joke to Sheena about like having like a threesome or a whatever with her and Brock, and I'm just like, shut up. Like,
yeah,
not funny.
Shut up.
Who cares?
Yeah, that was lame. Sheena likes it though. That's Sheena's humor. She's like, well, I do love making out with Ariana. Yeah. So then we get to what I think is the one of the best fights in Vanderpump Rules history. I guess calling it fight is sort of like I don't know. It's not like doesn't denote it enough, I guess, but it was like confrontation. One of the best confrontations I've ever seen. So It starts out very, very innocuously with Schwartz offering James tequila. And he says, I don't know if you fuck with tequila. James says, only when I'm in Mexico, which I took that to mean I don't think James like is ready for a hard liquor journey right now.
Yeah.
But he said a cool, not sobriety related reason for why he wouldn't drink hard liquor right now. That was my read of it, which I thought that was like great. I thought it was the perfect thing to say, a cool thing to say, and it's very innocent at that moment. But then Schwartz thinks that he's saying that he's going to Mexico to DJ, so it's a full misunderstanding of what
that
James
doesn't even
said.
make sense.
But an innocent. Yeah, but I think he just tuned out for 1 second. I really do believe that was an innocent misunderstanding from Schwartz, because I don't think he can act. Yeah, I don't think he can act as well as he did. So then James didn't even have to bring up him DJing at Imagine Festival, because it was just such an organic call out to talk about it. James, I don't even think would have like brought this up. It was just that the fact that he talked about DJing in Mexico. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So James then brings it up, and then Schwartz is sitting right next to Raquel, and he says, that is a big deal. And he's sincere. He's being like so nice about it.
Yeah.
And then he says, you think that's bigger than Rachella? Right? Like,
he couldn't help himself.
Yeah. Yeah. He could, but I wanted to ask you, like, I wanted to break down this joke because I do think it was an innocent joke. Do you think it was innocent?
I think so. I don't think it was that big of a deal, but he certainly should be considering the fact that he did just make out with James's ex-fiance, who was the star of Archella. And like any normal person would probably know better than to make that joke, but I didn't feel like he had ill intentions.
It was the worst like awkward joke you can make, because he had just made out with Raquel that James got over it. He's sitting next to Raquel while he says this joke. I think he thought like, it did sound very, very derisive and very offensive. Mm-hmm. And I felt like James was completely warranted in how he reacted to it, because it did sound like he's so defensive now about all of these digs at him and about people not appreciating him that like I felt like he was completely justified in his reaction to that joke. Yeah,
it's kind of like the definition of Schwartz just not thinking like that he should be held accountable for anything that he says or does. Like he thinks that nothing is a big deal ever. Like he's like, it's not a big deal. Like I was just kidding. Like not a big deal. And I'm like, okay, but when you're working with other people and their emotions and you're talking to other human beings and you hurt their feelings, then maybe it was a big deal to them. And you have to understand alternate points of view.
Yes. Yeah, so James immediately is going, big funny joke, haha, great joke, hilarious. Thanks for doing that. What a great joke. And Schwartz immediately knows, he's like, bad joke, sorry, bad joke. And I legitimately do
James,
think
yeah,
yeah.
James is just like
Yeah.
getting more and more worked up. Like there was no
Oh,
stopping him. It was just already over.
uh, oh, he was getting so heated. He's going in his mind. He's going. Like, what are you doing? I don't have all the like dialogue, but he was just like ramping himself up. He goes to his confessional. He's like, "Why would you ever equate one of the best things in my life with one of the worst moments in my life?" And then you get a peek into exactly what he's thinking. It's so justified. He is ramped up. And then I didn't see it, but apparently he poured out a little bit of half of his beer so it wouldn't be the full beer. And then he just cocks back and he does the best beer throw I think I've ever seen in history. A perfect circle of beer hits Schwartz right in the face. Peter is next to him and he doesn't get a drop on him. It was the perfect beer throw.
Yeah, everyone is so shocked. We need to go into like a couple of the things that he says in this moment. So first of all, he makes fun of Schwartz and Sandy's, and he calls it a like strip mall bar in the Silver Lake Poop Hole Village.
Yeah, it was like I was almost too shocked at what was going on that I can't even imagine. I didn't recognize poop hole until someone texted me about it, and I was like, did he really call it poop hole village?
We might need to make shirts that say Silver Lake Poop Hole Village.
I was saying that, but Megan was saying no one would wear a shirt that says poop hole on it. But I was like, was he talking about poo? Was he talking about Pooh Bell? Like, Pooh Bell is right there.
Thought. That's what I
it's
thought.
like because La Poubelle means trash can, apparently, the trash can. So was he just conflating Franklin Village? Franklin Village is obviously a poop hole, hell hole. I think his brain was really formulating like like the best crafty insults, and he was like, you said poop hole village, which is perfect.
I mean, it's so funny. I mean, it like first of all, like try like getting a house in that area. It's very expensive. It's actually very nice, but Poop Hole Village so nice. Was so funny. And then he also fucking roasts Schwartz's engagement, that he's like, you got engaged at Rockin' Riley's on like Hollywood Boulevard, like fucking loser. And I forgot that, like, I don't know if it's just I feel like maybe at the time I thought that engagement was kind of cute, but in retrospect, like, it's just like all the friends were there. It was just like, what is this? Like, it in retrospect, it's very funny.
Yeah. I mean, Schwartz has all like the bar is so low that we were all stunned by that Rockin' Riley proposal. But I love that James brought that into the equation after calling his bar located in a whatever he said in shithole Poopville village. Then he's making fun of his proposal. He's just like cutting him down to size so wildly. I also love when he said, "You hurt my feelings every time I see you," which is just so honest. You know what I mean? Just so honest. Like I just love that. And then James is now just he is like Godzilla storming through the beach, screaming, laying into Schwartz. Schwartz tries to save his dignity, which anyone would do, by saying, I don't do that again, or I will do something bad to you. And James runs right back over to him, basically taunting him to do it. Like, I really think James would have just beat the shit out of Schwartz if he would have tried. Schwartz just sits there. Schwartz got the beer off of his face, but he's trying to be tough. He goes, "I'm going to put you in a headlock, and your last breaths will be asking me, please." And then James goes, "You couldn't put me in a headlock, fat boy. I would run and get out of that in 2 seconds." I was like, this is the best. And it was one of those scenes where I couldn't even think about one moment because each moment subsequently was so good that I couldn't even focus on Poop Hole Village because all of a sudden Schwartz is talking about putting him in a headlock. I mean,
oh my God. And then he's like ranting about the engagement and how he wishes he could take it all back. He's like, I wish I could take it all back. And it's like so sad, actually. And then
sad.
You cut to Satchel and the Don, and it's like crickets.
They are like, wait for the video viewers. Let's just do what Satchel and Don are doing when they're looking over at them. They're like, yeah, all of the reactions. Yeah, I'm actually surprised that the cast had the good sense to just leave them to it, because it could have gotten way wilder and more chaotic and less powerful if one of them would have like tried to stop it. They just let that thing breathe, which I
Yeah,
loved.
it was like a fire that like blew through very quickly, because it essentially, so Sandoval tries to get involved as always, saying the same thing that
Yes.
Schwartz said, where
Yes.
he wouldn't
Yeah.
care if Schwartz dated Ariana, which I'm like, I'm sick of these examples. It's
Me
disgusting.
too. They're two single people. He keeps saying that. He has two things he says to justify this. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's actually very problematic that you both keep saying that you wouldn't care that you if the other Tom dated your longtime wife or girlfriend.
And then they panned to Schwartz, and I like made a note. Like, it was just so quick, but Schwartz is utterly humiliated and devastated, and his face is sticky with beer, and it is the saddest I've ever seen him. He is just sitting there with not a smile, a blank expression on his face. It's just pure like wounded ness that is going on. I was like, I would almost feel bad if Schwartz hadn't been behaving like he was this whole season, because it was very humiliating.
Yeah, they also so then Sandoval, I don't remember, I guess he kind of gets into it with Lala, because Lala says like, yeah, I'm not surprised because you were fucking like Ariana while you were with Kristen, and then they show Sandoval admitting to making out with Ariana, and they keep the entire iconic clip of him saying that he made out in a pool with Ariana at the Golden Nugget. They have Stassi saying the Golden Nugget, that's a new low, and they have Sandoval saying, what are you kidding? I love that place. And I was like, they know that it's a fan favorite. We love that clip.
Yes. As if this scene wasn't good enough, they decided to add the iconic Golden Nugget clip, which you and I have referenced like multiple times already. It was so good to see that buried within this scene. That was so fun. That was awesome. Oh, and I just want to say, I don't know if you'd bring this up. If you were, I'm sorry to cut you off, but Allie, I didn't think Allie's behavior towards James was justified. I think I'm just so fully in defense of James right now. I did not like how Allie was not on his side, and he comes up to her and he says, I really would like you on my side. Like, and she goes, no, you made a fool of yourself. It was just a joke, and you look like a fool. Like,
yeah, she's pretty mean to him, actually. Like, part of me likes it, and like later she does it again. But like sometimes I'm very into the fact that she can stand up to him and, you know, tell him to like get over himself and stop, you know, being a baby. But yeah, it felt a little bit cruel.
I found it to be, I found it to be very cruel. I felt like she had the wrong read on this situation. It's like, can't you tell, or can't you at least step into James's shoes for a second? And the guy that just made out with his ex-fiance just made a joke at his expense about his proposal with his ex-girlfriend right in front of him, and compared it to him DJing at a huge festival. Like, can't you just see that a little bit?
I do understand the maybe insecurity of having to hear over and over again that he is hurt by his ex moving on, even though obviously this is such a messy scenario and they're forced to hang out constantly. But like, yeah, I guess if I had a new boyfriend and all he was ever talking about was being, he hasn't even actually been, you know, he keeps getting dragged into it by others. But if the topic of conversation was always your boyfriend talking about his ex, I would probably get fed up pretty quickly.
Yeah, fed up, but she has to know, like you just said, she has to know that this is the conditions of this show. And the only reason James is constantly talking about Raquel is because he is forced to talk about her every time he sees her every other day. You know?
It's true.
So
yeah.
that was,
yeah. So somehow Sandoval, while he was being annoying, also wrapped up this situation and made peace somehow, because he tells James, he's like, Schwartz didn't mean anything by it. He didn't mean anything by it. And then something clicks in James's brain and he like gives Schwartz like a handshake and a side hug. And I'm like, what just happened in his mind?
It was he's still completely enraged. It was trying to de-escalate in a way that made sense, but he's still fired up. He said, oh, you didn't mean it that way. Okay, I didn't mean to spill beer in your face like that. And it's like a passive aggressive way to end this fight. Schwartz takes it like this is over or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, James still has steam coming out of his ears. I just felt like that was like, let's make it out of the beach alive, both you and I.
Oh my God. I'm peeking ahead to my notes because the next part is also, the next scene is so amazing. And I'm like, I think I have as many notes for the next scene as I have for the whole first part of the episode.
Oh, yeah. I know. Yeah, I know. Same here. It's like you said. Mine is like a script. Like it's like scene headings for everything. Yeah. So I just want to, before we take that walk with them to Tower 12, I just want to say, what do you think Satchel's first impressions of Schwartz were based off this scene?
Probably not good. He is, in his crooked glasses era, he's acting a fool. He's always wearing his dumbass little backpack. He's like the quintessential guy who wears a backpack into his 40s. Like, it's just like very funny to me for some reason that he's always like walking around with his little backpack. But Satchel seems very sedated.
Yes.
Not a lot going on.
Has anyone though ever had a worst impression in front of their ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend in the history of television or in the history of the world?
Yeah, maybe not. I did notice that when they I don't want to jump ahead, but there is a transition here that happens between the beach and the Tower 12 bar, and at one point when they're leaving, Lala says, "Let's go, the Dawn."
Yeah, I loved that too. Let's go, the Dawn. I thought that was amazing. And I also love, which this is right now for the transition, but Katie and Christina Kelly and Lala were just planning to go with like Satchel and the Dawn, and they didn't expect the full group to follow them. That felt actually legitimate and real because they are such a motley crew when they arrive that it doesn't seem like they thought this was going to happen. I loved that so much, that this was just like a miscommunication that got them all to Tower 12 together.
That was hilarious.
That was awesome.
Then...
I also like. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, post beach vibes is such a distinct vibe when you're all like out of it and sun phase, and you go to a bar or whatever. You're like in a completely different state of mind once you leave the beach, and I love that we got to like see that at Tower 12.
Oh my God, I just in all caps I wrote weird energy. Like everyone is like sun soaked and like drunk and just like worked up, and it's just like that was probably the time to go home.
Oh, totally. It's like it's when you stay the extra couple hours that everything goes crazy. Katie specifically says that Tower 12 has dark energy. She specifically says it. So Schwartz comes in and he's standing up and he goes, "Hey, you guys good?" Like doing a check-in on everyone, and no one like responds to him. And then he says he's sitting down across from Satchel and Katie, and he goes, "Hey guys," he goes, "Hey Satchel," he goes, "You guys can say hi if you want." And Katie's like, "I already said hi to you." Satchel says hi, and Katie goes, "I already said hi to you. I'm not saying hi to you anymore." It's like, why did he need their attention right then? Why did he demand their attention?
Pest mode.
Totally. Yeah, he goes, "We're hanging out. We're hanging out. We're having a good time." I was like, "You're having a good time?" James just threw a full beer in your face at the beach. Are you really having a good time? That was like kind of an interesting question.
That thing on TikTok, when I feel like I usually see it on TikTok, where if someone posts something about someone else or about something, a lot of the time the comments will be like such and such watching this, and it'll be like the 2 eyeball emojis and the lips, like just like a little face. Like,
no, I don't think I have seen that. I've never used that emoji before.
If you can imagine, it's just if you typed the eyeball emoji, and then drop down and they're the lips, and it's just like a little weird face looking. Like people use it on TikTok to be like, that's so and so watching this, like, wow, like. And I feel like every time they cut to Satchel, I was just picturing the little eyeballs and lips emojis where he's just like sitting there like, all right, like, here.
Yeah, you have to send me that because I have to see that emoji. But Satchel again, he just says hi back, to Schwartz, but he says no other words. He is just planted next to Katie the entire time. And
Yeah.
then just to finish this like very first part of Tower 12, which Tower 12 gets so much more chaotic, but even the initial 5 minutes were so action packed. Schwartz takes that Katie thing where Katie says, "I don't want to say hi to you again. Why do we have to keep saying hi to you?" Which fully validated, Katie. That is exactly right. You don't need to say hi to him again because you moved to Tower 12. Then Schwartz goes to Sandoval under his breath and he goes, "Oh, she can really hold a grudge. I am so glad I'm not married to her. I am so happy I'm not with her. Good God, I do not miss her in any way, shape, or form." He like just went in because Katie wouldn't say hi to him.
Yeah. I know.
That was shocking to me.
Yeah, it was just like, dude, God, but that's like, so he was saying that shit while they were married too, and before.
I know.
Like he'd be like,
I know.
I don't want to be with her anymore. I want a freaking divorce, blah blah blah. So it's like, at least they're not together anymore.
He seriously, he had Sandoval like as a shoulder to cry on for all of Katie's like all of his fights with Katie, and Sandoval was always the person to say, "Oh yeah, she's totally in the wrong. She's horrible. She's horrible.
Yeah.
She's horrible." This instance, you see this now in a new light, like we keep saying, where Katie's fully justified, and then you see how he talks to Sandoval about Katie, and Sandoval's like, "Yeah, man, of course, yeah, she totally sucks, like I always say."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
yeah.
I thought this was so crazy that then all of a sudden Schwartz, James, and Raquel are doing shots together. Like,
Yeah.
what?
I think it was just, we need to get drinks, obviously. So let's go get drinks. And those are the first three people that came up. And yeah, it just happened to be the three people that had powerful stuff to talk about. But Schwartz apologizes to James, and James starts to talk about why he got so upset. But he's like, "I don't want to talk about this in front of Raquel," which again, that makes sense.
Fair.
I don't want to be vulnerable or talk about my emotions with Raquel here. And she gets offended and she storms off. And then they start to have like sort of a good scene, talking, and maybe some resolution is coming. And then Lala just really like kind of interrupts them completely.
Yeah, she comes in like with hardcore energy. But then right before this, they cut to a confessional where James is like literally crying about like being like underappreciated and like whatever. And I was like, truly, he's like just like being very vulnerable, and then he's crying, and the end of his sentence is just honestly.
Yes. Yeah. It was so sad. I can't believe I forgot to mention that. Thank you for saying that. He fully validates why his reaction was that way. And as we've seen throughout this episode, they do dig at him and treat him badly. So his reaction is even more justified to me. I thought that was so sad. We're where Lala decides that she wants to have a little piece of this James and Schwartz drama, and she interrupts them.
Yes. She does a pretty good impression of Schwartz right off the bat. She says he's like a basset hound with like his fingers in his mouth, like acting like, oh, like his aw shucks routine, which I thought was actually pretty funny. I
loved that.
Yeah, they get into it. This is where we just start having the back and forth. Schwartz, which again, the thing is, putting aside the fact that a man shouldn't talk to a woman this way, they were going tit for tat. And I was like hooting and hollering. He calls Lala the personification of a sponsored post.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It was very reminiscent of the time that he calls Sheena a bootleg Kardashian when he just fully goes in on Sheena that one time with Katie. He went into that mode completely, and they were hurling it at each other. Perfect. He said she's the corniest person in the world, which I love the insult corny. I thought it was great. How many times? And James goes, "Not true," which was awesome. He's defending Lala. I love that.
And then he goes, "Give them Lala. Who the fuck is Lala? Who cares?"
I'm 1,000 times the human being you will ever be. You never hear him say stuff like that. He was like fully going nuts on her. You're corny.
Then, the final one is the one that's too far. He goes, "Go get some more Botox and plastic surgery," which he could have stopped just shy of there and I would have been LOLing, but that one, you just don't go there.
Yeah, he also broke the fourth wall and called her a bootleg housewife.
Yes, that made me laugh. And then Lala's like, "You're broke, you're a loser, you're 40 years old, look at yourself." And they're
Yeah.
going back and forth. And she's saying, her pedestal to stand on always is what she's been going through with Rand. She says, like, what I've been through in the last year would put you in a grave. And then he makes fun of, whatever, her business. And then she automatically brings any shit talk of her business or basically any part of her life as an insult to her daughter directly, which means you
Right.
can never say anything to her about anything.
Yeah, it's always the last straw, or people try to pretend it's the last straw. You're taking food out of my kid's mouth, which you could almost make any insult that you ever receive equate to how you can't feed your children anymore. I felt like that was sort of just a cop out. It's like he's not literally trying to affect your business. You can't really say that, but yeah, that's the last straw always for people.
And then he has to be
yeah,
like, he's like, "You're a great mom. You're a great mom," with like a chicken wing like in his mouth. Like he just like
Yeah.
never stops eating.
And then I'm just like, okay, well, nothing else will happen anymore. We just saw two huge fights back to back. This is obviously insane. And then it just doesn't stop.
Yeah.
They go, okay, well, let's get one of the famous Tower 12 151 floats that they have that's served in like a big bowl or whatever. Like, what was that drink?
Oh my God. It looked amazing. I love getting those like big shared like tiki bowls when I go to tiki bars and stuff like that. So
Me
I was
too.
excited
Me
to
too.
see that. But I just wanted to point out one quick thing before we get to the
Sure. Of course,
Scorpion
go.
Bowl.
Yeah, go.
So when Schwartz is he rounds out his fight with Lala, Sandoval comes around and he goes he said, "She doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know who she is." Sandoval says, "Well, it's not her real name, so that's a start for a therapist." And all I was thinking was, Raquel, Rachel, Raquel.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That was talk about corny. I was like, Sandoval, God, were you always this lame and I just like valued you so much like higher, or just his humor is landing like a thud every single time. Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
That was so lame of him.
Yeah. So, okay, yeah. So James orders this like scorpion bowl or whatever the hell. Allie kind of like hands him the straw and it like ricochets like booze or whatever into his eye, and he gives the most like Homer Simpson scream. Like I literally watched it like 10 times because it was so funny. I haven't heard a human being make that sound like in my entire life. Like it's so funny.
It was so funny. He screamed, which you're right. I've never heard him scream. I've never heard anyone scream like that on Vanderpump Rules. And then I loved his Allie. Like he just like he couldn't help but like scream her name. And I saw it. They tried to say it was water or whatever. That straw dunked in both things. He got 151 in his eye. You don't scream from water. They're trying to they're trying to dismiss his feelings. Like he probably got 151 in his eye.
I know why they kept being like, the waitress said it's for decor. And I was like, what does that even mean? Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you saying?
We put 151 all in a float and then we pour a little bit of water on the top so you have water pouring into your drink. It makes no sense. It was 151. He wouldn't Yeah.
He runs around the corner. He like eats shit on the way to the bathroom. It's like so dramatic. Sandoval's like chasing after him, which again, I will say Sandoval, when he is on your side, is very supportive. He was the only one that was listening and believed him that it was 151. I think he's the one that told him it was 151.
Yeah, he goes, 151 in your eye, dude, 151. Oh, that would hurt so bad. Like, yeah, he was actually running after him. Then James has to come back humiliated after screaming and after saying Allie at the top of his lungs. And he's like sad. He goes, Allie, I heard you laughing when I went into the bathroom, which that is so
when I was
sad.
calling for you. Yeah, I wrote
down,
and
then she goes,
I wrote down OMG, Allie Savage.
Savage. Nobody wants to watch you make a fool of yourself in front of all of his friends, saying that he got water in his eye and not 151. Like, damn, Allie, you did him so dirty this episode. Like, he has to say, oh, this is karma for how I treated Schwartz. It's like, that was not your karma. You were just like, you're being mistreated by your friends.
Yeah, that was sad. And then somehow it gets, again, Lala and Raquel talking about, about whether or not Raquel is a mistress or whatever.
Sheena brings that up. Sheena wants a piece of this iconic Tower 12 episode. That's how I read it. She wants a little taste of what she can bring. So she decides to bring up the storyline of Oliver. And she just says, do you think that Raquel, if she had known that she asked all the right questions about Oliver, and Lala goes, yeah. She goes, I know. Yeah, I know. It's not a big deal. Whatever. Yeah. And then Raquel wants to ask Katie, if she's finally going to be back on her side. And Raquel says, I don't think that making out with people considers me a whore. She says, did you hear that part?
That one hurt to watch. Her basic grasp on the English language can be a struggle.
Yeah.
I definitely wrote that down.
I love that Lala says what the audience is thinking, which is what the fuck is in the air today.
Yeah, she was like, this is insane. Like, what the fuck is happening? Like, this place is like, it felt like they were in like the Twin Peaks bar. Like, I was like, what?
You're exactly right. It was like a portal opened up at the beach and they're in an alternate universe at Tower 12. I have to ask, and you don't have to say yes right away, but when I don't have COVID and I show you a multiple negative tests, do you think we can all go get a Tower 151 thing at Tower 12?
Yeah, totally. And also I'm thinking if we'll be in the South Bay, we can visit the turtles.
Tuffy I want to see that
Stella.
Too. Imagine when we have photos seeing our turtles, our beloved namesake turtles, and then we go get a 151 float.
That
would be so nice.
I'm into it.
Okay, cool. And I'm on my final page and a half of notes. We're like winding down. How are you at in your notes?
Me too. Yeah, this is we're like, I have like half a page left. My next note is Sandoval on one pest mode.
Yes. Pest mode, wants a piece. He's unhinged. He's bedraggled. He's sun-soaked.
Yeah.
He wants a little bit of this. He wants a piece of this.
I was imagining how his sperms looked in this moment, and they were not looking good.
The morphology of them?
The morphology was whack right now. He was wasted.
The doctor goes, how did you go from 4% morphology to 1% morphology in 2 days?
He's like, Tower 12, baby.
Tower 12, that'll morph the shit out of your sperm.
He's like not making any sense. He's like a demon. He's like in demon mode. And then they cut back to his cha-cha outfit in his confessional. And they straight up ask him, like, have you hooked up with Raquel? And he gets into such a tongue twister trying to weasel his way out of this question or just answer it in such a weird roundabout way that it completely caves in. Like, you're like, what is wrong with you?
At the start of his sentence, he can't even finish his sentence because he doesn't even know how he got to how he said it. The answer is no, if you're trying to lie. And then the way they have it, they don't add any music to it, so you can actually hear like the ambient background noise. They left that scene completely quiet. I loved it.
Oh my God. And then,
well, he's sitting next to, for some reason, he's sitting right next to Satchel, and he's sitting next to Katie. And then we're at the mid-season trailer scene, which I didn't even know that we were getting there. The iconic scene where he's flailing around, talking about the Abbey and being pushed. I was like, oh my God, that's the mid-season trailer scene. And Katie goes to Raquel, she's like, I was dismissive of you because I didn't like you because of what you did with Schwartz, and you didn't prove to me that you're any different than that. And Sandoval goes, oh, right in front of Satchel, right next to Satchel. He goes, oh, so we have to prove stuff to you, huh? And dude, Satchel's just sitting in the middle of them, and he's just, like you said, he has absolutely no expression. He doesn't get mad. He doesn't get He doesn't do anything. He doesn't
No.
smile. He has no emotion to what is going on.
He's offline.
Offline. Satchel has left the building. He said nothing at the start, and he'll say nothing at the end. And Sandoval is in full-blown philosopher indignant mode for the rest of the night. He is like, I am the smartest man on earth, and you shall listen to me. He stands up, and he is just ranting about Katie and Schwartz and what he saw as the problem in their relationship. I mean, you probably have some
Yeah. No, I mean,
specific moments.
I wrote down, I don't even know what Sandoval is trying to say about their divorce and their relationship, because I'm like, yeah, there's plenty to say about the way they treated each other or whatever, but I don't even get the point he was trying to make. He was saying that when Schwartz talks about their divorce and relationship, he says that he's sad about it and that he wishes that he could have avoided it. But when Katie talks about it, she says, I didn't have a choice. So I guess essentially he's trying to say that Katie blames Schwartz for the divorce. Like, she gave him no choice, which like is true, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't hit hard at all. It doesn't make the case of anything. Yeah, Schwartz was so bad it got to the point where Katie couldn't do it anymore. That's all you're saying. And
yeah, I wrote down battered wife 2.0. Like, it was giving him being like, he's a battered wife. Like, he just gets so outraged, and it's like, what are you even talking about?
But not nearly as iconic, not nearly as powerful. Nothing about it like was good. It was like an interpretation of that scene, same like instance of him doing it, but it just did not come off well. Katie accurately says that this is deflection, that he's deflecting like crazy right now at anything he can grab onto to escape the rumors. And then I always wondered who pushed. This hasn't come up yet, but he says, you shouldn't be with someone, to Katie. This is his philosophical moment. This is his smartest man you've ever known in your life moment. You shouldn't be with someone for who you want them to be. Be with them for who they fucking are. And that's what's up. And he stands up. He thinks that they're going to cheer. I wish the cheering thing on this soundboard would work. He thinks they're all going to cheer. And then he stands up. He leaves. James pushes him. And I didn't know it was James because someone pushes him in the mid-season trailer. And that's James's arm saying, sit down.
Okay.
And Sandoval walks away. And then that was it. And then Katie just goes, so profound. You are so profound, man. What a amazing thing you just said. Totally making fun of him.
You know that in his head he was like, Raquel thinks I'm profound. Like, fuck you.
Yeah,
like,
he's like,
I'm gonna go home tonight and she's gonna tell me how profound I am.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that exact same thing to her. Where is she right now? Where is she at Tower 12? I'm gonna tell her what I just said, and she's gonna love it.
Oh my god. Yeah. And then I mean, that was amazing. That there's so much happened, so much to talk about, but it immediately goes into the next time on, which is even more amazing.
It's like how much of this can you guys take, because we're giving you everything in the world.
Yeah, Schwartz makes a joke right up front saying that Raquel has a type, and they kind of are like, he goes, Brock and Tom, like, watch out. And then they go, what's his type? And he goes, men who are taken. And you're like, ooh, like, we're talking about it. And then I'll let you cover, but a very little scene icon comes in and drops a bomb. And it's the best shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was so good. So after a couple of scenes where you're like, I know Vanderpump Rules. These are some of the scenes. I mean, this is great. I can't believe this is happening. But then all of a sudden it's like, we're at Villa Rosa. And Ken comes in. It's like, what's Ken going to say right now? And I forget his exact quote, even though I've seen it 100 times. He goes, I can't believe that Tom Sandoval was alone with Raquel all night in a jacuzzi. And then he goes, okay, goodbye. I got to go now. Marky. And then he just leaves and he just drops a bomb. And Katie is going, what?
He goes, what? He literally is beaming. I haven't seen him this like lit from the insides in like 10 years. He's like, Sandoval. He's like, she stayed over all night while Ariana was away. Like, I was literally like screaming.
Me too. It was so crazy. Ken just like is lit up with this gossip. He loves it. He's telling the kitchen what he learned. It was so funny. Did you watch more? Because I had to watch a little bit more. Did you watch any more of the 7 minutes they released?
No, I usually don't because
I don't
I'm
want to
trying to
either. I didn't want to
savor
either.
it. But is there more of the
Yes.
10 on there?
Yeah, so I also like to savor it, but I wanted to make sure that that wasn't a joke because I thought maybe Ken was kind of like making light of Katie and all of them stirring up these rumors. So he thought he was going to come in with a bombshell that he thought everyone would like because he had a sort of a jokey, silly vibe. So I was like,
Yeah.
is he just trying to like stir up a little bit about this new Tom and Raquel rumors?
Yeah.
But it turns out that in the 7 minutes that we see, and I only watched a little bit of it. So if you don't want to be spoiled, like this is the time to stop. But Raquel comes late to her shift at SUR and tells Lisa what she was doing and why she's late. And it's because her and Schwartz, apparently, and Sandoval all got really drunk and were hanging out in the hot tub at the house, and she had to sleep over at his house. And this is while Ariana is gone, at her grandma's funeral or whatever. So Lisa had this knowledge, and Lisa must have told Ken. And then Ken comes back into the room telling Katie so that Katie finds out. It's kind of
I
crazy.
love that's like a stroke of genius for if the producers are the ones that wanted him to
Yeah.
come in and mention it because
Ken,
that is such a
get in here.
surprise. Like I never
It
in a
was.
million years would have thought that like he's the one that would like drop the tea and like
Yeah.
maybe that's where the there's been so many different variations of a threesome rumor. So, like, that scenario would make sense for why people were joking about the Toms having a threesome with Raquel.
Yes, because of this. Yes, because of this hot tub scenario. But yeah, I mean, it seems like it's just going to keep getting better and better. I did not know how many of these episodes were actually going to address Scandival. That has been the biggest pleasant surprise for me.
Mhm.
So nice. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's amazing. It's all good. It's getting better and better. This was a masterpiece, a beautiful, amazing episode.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was so good. And then we don't have to get into it because we've exhausted our audience, but if anyone hasn't yet watched James on Watch What Happens Live, it was one of the best things I've ever seen. He is so insane. He talks a mile a minute. He is spinning in his chair, those like clubhouse chairs that swivel. He's spinning in them the whole time. His mom is in the audience. It's really funny.
Yeah, it was perfect. He is the perfect guest for Watch What Happens Live because it's so quick paced and requires some quick wit. And he was just shooting it off like crazy. Everything he said was great. All the games he played, he was so good at it. It was it's worth definitely watching Watch What Happens Live this week. He was the best guest that could have been on after that episode.
Yeah, I'll because the episode was so good, I'll forgive him for not showing up to See You Next Tuesday this week because he was in New York.
Yes. Yeah. So Amy and I were going to go see James at See You Next Tuesday this week, but I guess he was a last minute addition, and so we had to race to New York. But I'm actually happy because I have, I got COVID, and so I wouldn't have been able to go. So it was, silver lining, I guess, because I wouldn't have wanted to miss that. But
yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
No, I was
So
actually.
what?
Sorry. I was just
Oh
gonna-
no! You go ahead.
I was just going to say I was relieved because I was like, well, that's one less night of binge drinking in my week. So actually, that's fine. But
Yeah,
next
I know.
time.
I wanted to see it. Yeah, but also I was a little relieved too at just the amount of partying and energy we'd have to expend, there. Yeah. So anything else we need to talk about? Should we just do our closing arguments of how much we love our little turtles and how sweet they all are?
Yeah. Again, we love all of your comments. Your reviews have been so sweet. But if you haven't yet, rate and review because I think that really helps get our name out there, especially now that there's a rival Turtle Time. We have to get our numbers up so that people will find us.
Yeah, and it helps our SEO to have all those reviews when you search Turtle Time that it's not Ramona and Avery just paying the search engine to show them over us. We need that organic, beautiful traffic from all of your reviews. And we love you so much. And
Exactly.
and let us know if you loved this episode. I hope we did this episode of Vanderpump Rules justice. I mean, obviously Amy and I were so pleased by this episode. We loved it, and we hope you liked enjoying or listening to us talk about it.
Yes, it was so awesome. And I will get a quick plug in that you will see on social media as of today we have a bunch of fun merch available in our Etsy shop. And if you are a patron of our Patreon, you can get a discount code we posted there. So if you're not, it might be worth it for you to join just in time to get some fun stuff that you can only get from us. I can't wait to be swagged out. And that does include the once limited, now available Argentine Beef Week t-shirts and sweatshirts.
This thing is no longer a rare piece of merchandise that Amy and I dug up out of the Sir dumpster and tried to recreate in a limited time period. We now have figured out a way to keep Beef Week alive for as many years as people want to buy it. So now it is mass available to anyone on the Turtle Time Etsy store, right? That's what we're calling it, Etsy store.
Yes.
Yeah.
The link is in your bio, our bio. You can find it. I'm so excited to have our beef army out on these streets.
Yeah, I love it so much. I am going to wear my Grigio girl hat. I really love that. I mean, not to toot our own horns, but I really want that tan Grigio girl hat. I can't wait to wear that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm actually like LOLing that I didn't even think about. I just organically really do love Pinot Grigio, and it's like my thing for real. And then I just realized how enraged Ramona's going to be when she realizes that we have Turtle Time merch and Pinot Grigio merch.
Yeah. Well, she cannot stake a claim on all of Pinot Grigio. You know, that's not fair at all.
Guess what? I've never been able to find or buy Ramona Pinot Grigio. I've tried.
Yeah, and I also don't even I don't associate her with that anymore. I know she talked about it all the time, but that's not the first thing I think of when I think about Ramona anymore. So we've moved past that culturally. Yes. But anyway, we love you so much. We do have a Patreon. If you're not a member and you want to hear us recap Vanderpump Rules from the start of the series with all of the hindsight that we have now, it's sort of fun to listen or for us to listen, and watch these episodes with a new perspective. It's been kind of fun. So that's available on Patreon. But
yes,
anyway, you don't have to do that.
If you can't get enough of us at 2 hours and 30 minutes in, we have much more for you over there on those bonus episodes.
Yeah.
So you can hang out with us all day, every day. And you can also watch on YouTube. We have them there. And then for our patrons, we are gathering our fun bonus content, including the Tipsy Turtle Club, which more to come on that.
Yes. And now if you'll excuse me, once I'm done having COVID, Amy and I are going to go to Tower 12 and document the entire experience. We'll give you all a tour of where all these iconic moments happened. Yeah. We'll maybe go to the beach where the fight happened, and we'll do a full video for, we'll see if the Tower 12 still has the dark energy that was encapsulated by the Vanderpump Rules crew.
Absolutely. 100%.
Okay. Well, we beat our longest episode. This is just now it's like you can turn it off. You don't have to listen to us anymore. But Amy and I just beat our personal record of 2 hours and 30 minutes with 2 hours and 32 minutes. So we are now officially longer than the movie Contact. I'm going to find out what movie is 2 hours and 32 minutes, possibly 33 minutes, and then that is our new record. Amy, how do you feel about that?
Dude, I can't wait till we have a 4 hour.
We're going to have a 4 hour. I am so this. I should have turned my phone off. I'm getting lit up with messages. It's like something happened in the Vanderpump Rules universe. I'm going to have to figure out what happened, but I hope it was nothing bad. But anyway,
I'm scared.
I'm sure it's normal, innocent stuff, but we love you so much. We can't say that enough. Amy and I love you. I love you so much. You are the best part of having this podcast. You all are so sweet. Thank you for listening. We love you.
Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.